What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 111 for your September 9th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one and only, the man who does not want AJ Styles around anymore, the Solid Monster. What's going on, brother?
Where did that come from? Who said that? I said no such thing.
Really? I don't know. Who is it then?
AJ Styles?
AJ Styles says someone doesn't want him around anymore.
Well, that's certainly not me.
I'm going to blame Bruce, just like I usually do.
AJ Styles is always welcome here in these parts. So I will say that. Yes, there's a conspiracy going on, apparently. Someone's trying to push him out.
I guess. I don't know who it is. Who doesn't want AJ Styles around? Him and that beautiful hair. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah. I mean, he can't blame Paul Heyman. I know he and Heyman had issues before, but Heyman no longer has any sort of official title, like real power behind the scenes, so he can't blame it on Heyman.
You think it's a man in charge over there? Mr. Levesque? I doubt it.
Well, he wasn't there last night.
That's true.
Maybe that's why AJ was able to get away with cutting that promo, because you know who wasn't backstage at Raw last night.
See, that's an interesting situation. I didn't even think about that. Who was in charge if Triple H wasn't there? By the way, Triple H was at Kill Tony last night filming something. Bruce might have been in charge. Oh, boy, when the cat's away, the mice will play, huh?
Did you see the clip from McAfee's show? Because Triple H was on today.
I did.
But the clip where, and actually Halliburton was there from the Pacers.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton. And he was the one, I think, who asked him the question about there was no contract signing. Or was there a contract signing last night for Io Sky and Stephanie Vicaire? And Triple H's response was, I don't know, I wasn't there. Like, he didn't know.
I call bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would call bullshit on that one, too. Like, I had no idea. I was somewhere else. I was doing Kill Tony. What do you mean there was no contract signing? Nobody told me.
Why Stephanie Vicaire is getting cut from Monday Night Raw when she hasn't been on in the last, what is it now, man? 7 weeks? Hasn't been on the fucking show?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, guys, we're going to get into that and a whole slew of things here tonight on episode 111. Thank you guys for joining us here on yet another Tuesday night. We had AJ Lee return on Friday, and that's been the talk of the town. Major numbers, big-time numbers for WWE across social media. One of the largest gates in SmackDown history on Friday in Chicago. So we will definitely go over that, where it's going. Is it just merely for the nostalgia? How is everybody feeling now that she's back? We'll definitely get into all that. We got some news and notes coming out of Monday Night Raw. One being AJ Styles. Is this the last year for AJ Styles in WWE? We got a report from Sports Illustrated, and we'll go over that as well, about him sending feelers out to other promoters, not specifically promotions, but conventions and such. So we'll get into all that as well. We got some AEW news and notes. We'll talk about the ratings just crashing on Dynamite on Wednesday. I don't know what happened there, but we'll go over that, what we liked and what we didn't like as we head into All Out on September 20th. We got news on Wardlow. My guy Wardlow can't catch a break, bro. I don't know what's going on over there. You know? Poor Wardlow. We'll talk about him as well. I know, it's awful. We'll talk about him as well. And we got some Lesnar news. We got some HBO Max AEW news. We got a lot lined up for you guys tonight. So sit back, relax, pop open a cold beverage. Need anything from us, you know where to find us. Everything you need is linked down in the description below. If you guys want to follow Jason on social media, YouTube, everything you need for him is down below. Go and hit that subscribe button down below on this channel as well. We are nearing 174,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for all that. And if you want to support, a couple of ways to do that. Number one, hit the thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. We always hit it. So tonight should be no different. Two, go buy a t-shirt. Tuesday Night Titans t-shirts now available, still available on bonfire.com. So make sure you guys go pick one up today if you have not. And super chats. They are always open, and they will remain open until the end of the show. So if you guys want to support, that is the best way to support what we do here on Tuesday night. We'll read all of your questions, comments, and concerns at the end of the show. All right, man, lead us. Where you want to go?
Oh, why don't we start with John Cena?
There you go.
Talk about John Cena from Friday, but also I know there was some news regarding Cena and regarding his retirement match, which is coming up in December.
Yes.
So why don't we start there?
John Cena, Friday was his last SmackDown ever, as far
Which
as
I did not know as I'm watching the show. I knew it was his last time in Chicago. I did not know until he said that was going to be his last SmackDown.
Yeah, we none of us knew until WrestleVotes put it out on social media Friday. So that was the last SmackDown as an active in-ring performer for John Cena. So no more SmackDowns and no more SmackDowns until he retires. He will be on Raw and all the accompanying pay-per-views or PLEs from this point on. But a lot of people, Jason, were speculating where this match, his final match on Saturday Night's Main Event, December 13th, is the date where this would take place. And obviously, the number one would have been Boston, Massachusetts. I don't specifically want to be in Boston in December. I don't think anybody wants to be. But a lot of people insinuated that it could have been in Boston. And it is not. And I have no real idea why they chose the city that they chose. I did hear your clip on what you think, and it's not that far-fetched to think that. But Washington, D.C. is the place for John Cena's final match. And that was reported by WrestleVotes and PW Insider. So this is a notable shift from the long-standing expectation that his career would end in front of his hometown crowd in Boston. WWE confirmed his final dates in Boston and New York this week. So after the Chicago show on Friday, he will be on Raw, 9:15 in Springfield. That's coming up this week. Remember, 7 p.m. start time, which means both of us go live earlier, an hour earlier. So keep an eye out for that. And that will last 3 weeks, the remaining months of September, as they test how they go earlier against Monday Night Football. WrestlePalooza, 9:20 in Indianapolis, which I said, Jason, and I don't know how you feel about this. I've been a stickler for this, going back to the Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar feud, which we still didn't get an explanation on. Lesnar's going to be on 2 SmackDowns, and Cena's going to be on 1 Monday Night Raw. There's got to be somewhere in between those 3 appearances an explanation as to why Brock Lesnar is now all of a sudden targeted John Cena during this final run of his career. I don't give a shit what the explanation is. Just give me a logical reason as to why. He could come out and say, you know, John, I never liked you. I want to end you before you get to Washington, D.C., and I'll be okay with that explanation. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be on SmackDown this Friday, and Cena's not. So why else would Brock be there if not to speak? Right? I mean, he's not going to come out and just beat up some random person. So I would imagine whatever the explanation is, we will get that on Friday. And then John Cena can respond on Raw next Monday.
Yes, hopefully that is the case. Crown Jewel in Perth, that is October 11th. And then Boston will get Monday Night Raw on November 10th. And New York City's getting the following week Raw, November 17th. So I look at this schedule, Jason, and after WrestlePalooza, he makes no TV appearances up until Crown Jewel. Have you thought what he does at Crown Jewel and how he will build towards a match against whomever at Crown Jewel? Or is it going to be one of these situations where they will link him up with an opponent and his opponent's going to have to do most of the selling, all of the selling, actually, being that he won't be on TV going into Perth, Australia?
Yeah, I mean, they could always add more appearances to his schedule. I mean, that's always possible, but this late in the game, it seems unlikely. So whoever it is that he works with, I mean, are we sure he is wrestling on that Crown Jewel show? Is he advertised for that show?
I do believe he is advertised. It could be one of the Money in the Bank situations when they went to the United Kingdom. He just comes out and cuts a promo. I mean, I don't know why they would fly him all the way over there just to cut a promo, though.
Yeah, no, if he's going to be on the show, he'll be wrestling somebody. Yeah. And I don't have any sense of who that's going to be. I mean, I was hoping that one of his last matches, I mean, it doesn't have to be his last match, but that one of the remaining matches he had would be with someone like Drew McIntyre. Yeah. And that seems like that's out the window now, since McIntyre's on SmackDown. So I don't know. I don't know who his opponent would be there. I don't know. I don't know what they have lined up for him between now and the very end. I mean, we don't even know when Gunther's going to come back. I still think that's a match that makes sense to do, possibly even as his last match. But I honestly don't know. Do we assume that it would be someone from Raw that he would be wrestling from now on? Because you don't just have Gunther on Raw. You have AJ Styles, which is a match that I know a lot of people would still like to see. You've got him. I've heard people throw Dom's name out there as a possibility. I don't know how people feel about that. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was a pleasant surprise to see him wrestling on SmackDown on Friday night. You get an impromptu John Cena match on TV. And it was a damn good match, too, what we saw of it. So You know what? Surprised me, because that was a nice surprise.
Is one of those names, I don't want to say it's a big time match, and I doubt WWE does it, but seeing that he's getting some momentum underneath himself, what about Rusev?
You could do it. I mean, they have history together. I don't know that people are clamoring to see it. I'm not clamoring to see that match. Personally, I would much rather see him against Sheamus.
Me too.
There's history between the two of them, and I think, look, Sheamus don't miss. So I think you put the two of them in the ring in like even just a TV match. I'll take that over Cena and Rusev.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that as well. So Raw 11/17 in New York City. That is at Madison Square Garden. Survivor Series, that is November 29th in San Diego at Petco Park. I don't know what John Cena is going to be doing at Survivor Series. That's another big question as well. So he's got, outside the Lesnar appearance for WrestlePalooza, 3 PLEs, or I guess 2 PLEs and 1 Saturday night's main event. So that's 3 big matches there. And then
do you think they would put him in War Games because he's never done a War Games before?
Listen, Punk came back and he did War Games and he did Hell in the Cell all in the same back-to-back months. So, I mean, if John Cena wanted to run the gauntlet of this year, Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then a War Games, I mean, I could see him doing that, sure.
Yeah, I mean, just because if you're WWE, you might want to get kind of 2 attractions out of it. So you can do War Games, and you always have men's and women's, but you could get War Games as its own sort of attraction. And on the same card, you could have a separate John Cena match, his final ever Survivor Series match. But I was just thinking, he's never done a War Games before. So maybe they're looking at that and thinking, hey, we want to get Cena in there so he could say that he did a War Games match.
Yeah, not only that, I feel like, if he's going to be on Raw, the top guy on Raw, Seth Rollins, who he also has history with, and that may be the only way we get a Cena Rollins in-ring match, in that would be via War Games. So
yeah, and Cena would then also be in the ring with someone like Braun Breaker.
Yeah, so that could work. And then he'd be teaming alongside Roman Reigns and CM Punk, obviously, as the babyfaces battle division. And then the Saturday night's main event, 12/13 in Washington, D.C. That's the final match. I'm lobbying for Gunther. I think that would be a great way to cap off his career and really give a nice nod to Gunther, who I would love to see take on a legend killer like gimmick, because he just kind of owns it every time he's out there. You had an interesting take, Jason, on Washington, D.C. I don't know if this specific individual will make an appearance for WWE, but why don't you tell everybody just briefly what you mentioned on the Sound Off this week?
Well, when I heard Washington, D.C., I was thinking, does John Cena have any specific connection to that city? And I couldn't really come up with anything. The only thing I thought of is one of his great rivals, and someone who, the two of them, they parallel each other in many ways. They were part of that OVW class in 2002. They both won world championships for the first time in the same night at WrestleMania. Dave Bautista is from Washington, D.C. And so he has been linked to Cena at different points during his career. And it would be kind of cool if they can get him to show up, because I'm sure they're going to have different like guests of honor, in attendance on that last night, just legends who were there, not necessarily wrestling. And I think it would be appropriate for Batista, in his hometown, to make an appearance, on John Cena's final night. He's not going to be wrestling Cena, obviously, but even right up until now, their careers in Hollywood, like really their careers have mirrored each other in many ways. And that would be the only DC tie-in that I could really think of. And it could be a good excuse for them to get Batista back on the show.
Yeah, that could work. I do think that there will be some guests of honor for sure, just kind of paying homage to Cena. I don't know what the show formatted is going to look like. That may be one of the only matches on the show, and maybe one other, and then they'll do like backstage interviews or vignettes of such.
Well, let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this. That we know that's going to be a Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
So I guess we're assuming 2 hours, right? Usually they're 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be any other matches on that show.
Yeah, that's why I said it. I wasn't sure how you were thinking. One match for that, and then the rest is just kind of telling John Cena's history over 20 years plus?
Yeah, because again, you're going to sell tickets, and there's going to be a lot of people in the building. You could do dark matches. You could do matches for the live crowd, so you're not they're not getting just one match. But the actual broadcast, I feel like between Cena, I'm sure Goldberg will be very upset about this, but I'm sure Cena will have time to, make a speech and address the audience, let's say after his match. So between the match itself the introductions for the match, and then whatever the post-match is going to be, and then you fill in video packages and maybe interviews with some of those guests of honor that we talked about. That's your broadcast right there. I mean, you're building it all around John Cena's farewell. I don't really see where it makes any sense to fill in 2 or 3 other matches to forward storylines that people aren't even really going to care about that night. It's all about John Cena.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just center it around John Cena and John Cena only. One of the biggest superstars in their history, so it should happen that way. And nothing else is even going to be talked about. So why even bother, putting that around John Cena? Everybody's just going to be talking about John Cena no matter what. Yeah. So
and even better, the fact that now we know that it is not airing on NBC, we should not hopefully have the types of interruptions that we normally have on those Saturday night's main event shows.
Which feels like not only on Saturday night, I feel like it's getting worse across Monday and Friday was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, every fucking time I put my head down and I turned my head back to the TV, it was a fucking commercial. Yeah. Same thing with Raw last night. Now I know you watch via VPN, but every 4 or 5 minutes is a fucking commercial.
Well, I made the mistake of not on Friday. I mean, I usually do with Raw because I get to see what's going on during the commercials. When it comes to SmackDown on USA, I never really think to use it, and I'm gonna have to start because I had people telling me, "Hey, I'm watching it on Netflix." I don't have that problem. I'm like, fuck, I didn't even like. I was using it for all the international shows that when they went back, SmackDown normal time, USA back in the States, I didn't even think to use it. So I experienced all of that. Everything that you saw, I saw the same thing, and it was out of control.
Ridiculous. Anyway, that's Cena's final match. Saturday night's main event, 12/13 in Washington, D.C. I don't know if tickets are on sale or if they will be on sale very soon, but I'm sure that's going to be a sellout very, very quickly.
Let me ask you this before we go on.
Yeah.
Since we talking about potential guest of honor, I mentioned Batista. What other people do we think realistically they may invite to be there? I would think JBL, because he was the first guy that Cena beat to win his first world championship. Kurt Angle,
absolutely. It sucks now you mentioned this. Adam Copeland won't be there. Bryan Danielson won't be there. It's like, two guys that have a big part in his history.
Well, Jericho too.
I mean, I'm sure Shawn Michaels will be there. Who else? Who else can we? Big Show not there.
Yeah, Big Show won't be. Yeah, who else would there be? Because a lot of those guys are unavailable right now. What about Rock?
A lot of people were starting rumor that Rock is not wrestling because if you guys looked at him, he's filming another movie. That's why he looked a lot thinner than normal. Lizard Man or something like that. He's filming.
No, that's the name of the movie. I think he's playing Chicken Man.
Yeah, he's playing Chicken Man.
What is this, by the way? Lizard? Is it it's like a comedy? What is this thing?
I don't know, man.
Don't get me
started with the conspiracy theories, man. Lizard people, Lizard Man.
Okay.
Yeah, so Rock may send in a video package or something. I could see him doing that. Randy Orton's going to be in the building, I'm sure.
Oh,
CM Punk. I mean, a lot of the people that we're probably thinking of are already on that roster. So it's a little bit more difficult to think of who's not on that roster that will be there. I don't know. JBL, yeah, you mentioned JBL. I don't know. Who else is there? Chat. Maybe you guys can come up with some names. RVD, that's one. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I can think of one who is very instrumental to his career, but he better not be there.
Mr. Kennedy?
Well, yeah, I was thinking Mr. Kennedy, but a different Kennedy.
Vince McMahon. I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people said that he could be there, or should be there at least. But knowing what we know coming out of his birthday party, I don't think I want him anywhere in the building. So
no.
We don't care about him. So that is that with John Cena. Brock Lesnar, he is wrestling at WrestlePalooza on 9/20. There was some news on Brock Lesnar this week that he was a free agent from months before his SummerSlam return, according to Dave Meltzer. Meltzer reported that Lesnar, while being paid on his previous contract long after the company stopped using him on television, sounds like a sweet deal to me, that deal eventually expired, leaving him a free agent for several months. That correction regarding Brock Lesnar, Lesnar actually just signed a new contract to return. He was getting paid on his prior contract long after they stopped using him, but that deal did expire, and he actually was a free agent for months until he signed a new deal. Now, the report also clarified why WWE could not simply extend his previous contract due to the time he missed, as is often with the case with injured talent. They couldn't extend the prior deal due to injury like others because he wasn't injured and it was their choice not to use him. So Lesnar's absence was a direct result, obviously, of being involved with the Janelle Grant lawsuit. A lot of people were, well, he could have joined AEW. He could have went anywhere. But Lesnar's not going nowhere. Lesnar knows where his bread is buttered. And
why don't you join TNA while he's at it?
Sure, why not? Sure, let's do it. They could use a ticket boost for sure.
Yeah, some of the people in the chat, I can't believe I forgot this person as a potential guest of honor, tied into Cena's past. How can we forget about the great Bull Buchanan?
Refresh my memory. What does he have to do with John Cena?
So early in Cena's run, when he was doing the Doctor of Thugonomics stuff, he had a heater. He had a guy with him, B Squared. It was Bull Buchanan. Bull Buchanan was with the right to censor.
Yes,
but then he was B Squared. He would come out like this. Like, I completely forgot about that.
Triple H ain't fly no fucking Bull Buchanan in there.
If they can't find a seat for Bret Hart at SummerSlam, they ain't flying in Bull fucking Buchanan. Okay.
Oh man, that's a blast from the past. Thanks, Chad. So yeah, that's the John Cena front, and we will see him again on 9/15 in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Who was the one who stabbed Cena? Maybe they can invite him and Jesus. Was that who it was? Carlito and Jesus?
No, I don't think Triple H is flying those guys in either.
Is he still locked up? Is he still incarcerated after the stabbing?
Probably. Let's go back to SmackDown here. We got SmackDown happening on Friday. Like Jason mentioned, the Sami Zayn John Cena match, which was great. I love the way that it transpired. Sami came out. He got, I don't want to say violently booed, but it was pretty fucking bad. It was bad in Chicago. I didn't really know what was going on. I don't know if it was just Chicago being Chicago or, some people, I asked my live stream chat, Jason, on Friday, what is it with the Sami Zayn indifference as of late? And a lot of people just kind of pointed the finger of, oh, he's boring, or he is just not entertaining anymore, and the come from behind babyface stuff is just tiresome. Some people mentioned his political beliefs, which he's not really afraid of expressing on social media, which I don't really know why that would bother anybody. Just watch him as a performer.
Yeah, but even if it is, it's not. It doesn't explain the booze.
No,
like this was not like a pocket of booze. It wasn't Logan Paul like boo him out of the building, but it was audible, noticeable boos when he came out and then when he spoke. And I asked the same question. I said, what the hell? Where did this come from? It's not like we've heard like pockets of this recently. Like even Cody will sometimes get some boos. That hasn't been the case with Sami. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And so I kind of chalked it up to anybody who was going to come out and interrupt Cena or confront Cena, because it was a very pro-Cena crowd, was probably going to get booed. But I think there is something also to certain people being tired of them doing this story as they've been doing for a long time now with Sami, where he's like the little engine that could, where it's like, I know I can be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion. Are there people who maybe, have soured on him a little bit because they just got tired of hearing that? It's possible. It's possible that there are people who, like you said, are maybe getting a little sick and tired of hearing about him as the underdog. But yeah, that was a big surprise, though. Just the intensity of it when he walked out.
Yeah, it was almost uncomfortable just watching Sami Zayn. Like he knows how to navigate a situation like that, but I think he was you just felt like he was just shocked that reaction was coming down upon him. And he came out, people were singing his song. He gets in the ring, people booed. I thought they were just booing because he interrupted John Cena's final SmackDown. They were booing well after that. And then he got them back on his side when he said he wanted to pay homage to the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge, and he wanted to pay it forward. John Cena helped him out when he just got started, and he wanted to give John Cena the first shot since he's bringing back now the Sami Zayn United States Open Challenge, which, I mean, I've always said open challenges are just the bane of people who are just lacking creativity. It's ridiculous. Open challenge here, open challenge that, open challenge this. It's just a creative team that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. But with Sami Zayn, I feel like it could work because he's a great wrestler. He's a better storyteller. Well, but I would like to see them actually do something different with the United States title and just do instead of doing random matches. That's the problem I have with it.
Yeah, I mean, they have, thankfully, WWE and AEW, it has gotten better in recent months. I mean, I feel like we went through this period where everybody was doing an open challenge for every title every week between the two companies. It was like out of control. So it's died down and gotten a little bit better. I could excuse it if they use this as a way to maybe finally really elevate and put that title eventually on Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Because Carmelo Hayes is still doing these teases where he's going up to Nick Aldis in the back and he wants to ask for a U.S. title match, and then the Miz interrupts. So I feel like now there's an open challenge. It's like, bro, you don't have to go to Nick Aldis. Think about how stupid it is. If he's trying to track down Nick Aldis, okay, from this point forward, now that we know Sami Zayn has reestablished the open challenge, what the fuck does Carmelo Hayes need to go to Nick Aldis for, since he's ignoring him anyway? Just walk out there, bro, and you can get a United States Championship. Now, I don't expect that's going to happen, like he's going to be the first person, but maybe they build to that, and maybe out of this we end up with Carmelo Hayes finally winning the U.S. title. I mean, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I would be down for that too, and that's exactly what John Cena did with that U.S. Open challenge. So if Sammy could do that for someone like Carmelo, that would be great. They're probably going to get a tag team title match sooner rather than later, so we'll see how that kind of deteriorates there, and Melo hopefully moves on by himself. But it was a great match between Sami Zayn and John Cena. They went over 20 minutes, and it was just a pleasure to see John Cena on a Friday Night Smackdown, because the last time, Jason, we saw Cena wrestle on a Friday night, he teamed with Cody Rhodes against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, and legitimately, with a commercial break, we maybe got 3.5 minutes of John Cena in the ring, so... It was fucking ridiculous. They took a commercial at like 9:54, and they come back with like 2 minutes left to go. So it was great to see him. I love the way that it all played out. It was, for his final SmackDown, probably one of the better ideas that they came up with all year for John Cena. So that was really good.
Yeah, but I have to say, one thing that he's been doing, and he did it again on Friday, which is he's inserting these callbacks to past opponents, and he's using their moves. And I don't know what was going on with Michael Cole, but there were two things that he didn't pick up on that thankfully Corey Graves did, at least in one of those cases. But yeah, the angle slam, I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
Where he used the angle slam. And, granted, it took 6 business days for the guy to come down. It took him a little while to get him over for the move. But clearly an homage to the man that he wrestled in his debut in that building. And Michael Cole goes back suplex. I'm like, what? Thankfully,
Back
Corey
suplex.
Graves was there to say angle slam.
That's probably not even correct either. It's a fallaway slam, isn't it?
No,
not a fallaway. It's what is it? It's not a what the fuck is it? Now I'm lost. Never mind. Fallaway slam. That's Razor Ramon. I'm thinking, what is it? What is the other move for it besides an angle slam? I can't think about it now.
The other
what's the proper name for it? The angle slam? What is it? What type of wrestling move is it?
It's got an official name. I've just called it angle slam for so many years. I just call it the angle slam, like Roddy in AEW.
Yeah.
And I still call it the angle slam. So to me, that's the name now. It's the fucking angle slam. He's been using it since '99. So that was one, and then of course the spear. And Cena's in the corner, and he's doing all the Edge stuff, where Edge would like freak out, and he was making all these weird faces and shit. And again, I'm paraphrasing here, but Cole was like, basically paying homage to his battles with the big dog. I'm like, the fuck? You talking about?
Wait a minute. John Cena, when he did the spear, before he did the spear, he did that motion with his hand,
yes.
like Copeland does, and he does that kind of up and down motion with his hand. If he wanted to pay homage to Roman Reigns, he would have did the ooh-ah.
Yeah, he did not do the ooh-ah. So, he does that. And then I don't know if you noticed the next day on Instagram, because Cena always just posts photos with no context. He just posted a photo of Edge from like 2007, crouched down in the corner, getting ready to do a spear.
Oh my God!
I don't know what was going on with Cole that night, but I'll tell you what. With this little announcer shakeup that they've undergone, because now Cole is with Corey on Fridays, and Joe Tessitore we saw is with Corey on Raw until Wade Barrett comes back, and we'll talk about him in a second. But at first, the PW Insider report on Friday indicated that Cole and Corey would call both shows for the foreseeable future. And I'm like, this guy does not need to be calling more shows. I think he needs less shows because he seems burned out. That's not the first time that he's been a little off on commentary recently.
Yeah, I also noticed that as well. Him being overworked. We'll definitely get into that, but it was nice to see Joe Tess on Monday next to Corey Graves, and it's always great to see Corey Graves, even though he is probably not going to be on Friday's show this coming Friday because he's doing Worlds Collide in Las Vegas. So I don't know who's filling in for him. So we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, who is going to be filling in for him?
Could be Vic Joseph, could be Booker T. I have no idea.
Well, yeah, I was thinking Vic. I mean, Vic was the one who was last night on Raw. During some of the commercial breaks, he was up on the concourse doing interviews, including one with Dom, where I don't know what it was about Milwaukee, but he brings out Dom, and I don't know if you saw that, but like they went nuts for him, and they were like singing to him and cheering for him, and he was doing his best to like keep character and not break, but he was super over for that one segment when he came out for an interview. But we got a bomb here. We got to talk about.
Well, we'll definitely get into that because I have a lot to say about that whole Judgment Day situation there. But we got a $100 super chat coming here from David M. I never understood why they never called it the angle lock instead of the ankle lock to go with the angle slam. You know, that is a very good point.
That is a good point.
I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe
angle slam, angle lock. Yeah.
If you see him at a convention or autograph signing, maybe that's a good question to ask him. David M., thank you, brother. Appreciate your generosity. And thank you guys for being here on Tuesday night, man. Love you in the chat. If you guys want to get in like David M., please do so via the super chats. We talked about the Open, John Cena and Sami Zayn. That was a great Open. Brock Lesnar obviously came out. I think we all kind of knew where that was going. Lesnar came in, he F5'd Sami Zayn, he F5'd John Cena, and he left. And then after the commercial, they showed him walking through Gorilla, Jason, and they legitimately had him say, well, I don't know how you felt about it, but I thought it was a little comical that they actually had him say WrestlePalooza, which it doesn't sound like a word Brock Lesnar would typically use, but
it's the name of the show. I mean, what is he supposed to say?
I'll see you on September 20th, bitch.
He could have. He could have. Look, I mean, he was on a pay-per-view once called Great Balls of Fire. So
he was.
Do we have any promos where he actually said the words Great Balls of Fire?
I don't know.
Remember if he actually ever said it. Probably not, because Paul Heyman would have said it, right?
Yeah, he wrestled Braun Strowman on that show.
No, he did not.
No, no, that was No
Samoa
Mercy.
Joe.
Yeah, yes. That was the following No Mercy show. That was Cena Reigns, and then Strowman Lesnar. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the open of the show, and then the other big thing that happened on Friday, and obviously everything else was filler. I know you and I ranted about Julia, which is pathetic, and then Aleister Black and Damian Priest had a nothing match. It was AJ Lee. And AJ Lee came back. It was a great moment. Everybody anticipated it. It was the worst kept secret in all of pro wrestling, literally for the entire week, coming out of Clash in Paris. And she showed up. Crowd melted down. People crying. People making reactions all over the place. It was ridiculous. She comes on out, and Punk is as happy could be. It was a great segment. We got Punk and Becky Lynch once again. Basically, Becky putting her hands on CM Punk, slapping him around. And he said, I'm never going to hit a woman. And I know somebody who will, though. And then out comes AJ Lee. And that's basically all we needed to know, that September 20th is a mixed tag team match, which we did get confirmed on Monday Night Raw last night. What'd you make of the overall segment, Jason? I know it was anticipated. I thought Rollins and Becky played their roles great, which I think they have been coming out of Clash in Paris. And I'm excited for this mixed tag team match. I know a lot of people were looking at AJ Lee. You know, it's nothing more than a nostalgia trip. And, you know, obviously we both know that Triple H and WWE this year has been hanging on that moment. They rather for the moment than the story. And I'm looking forward to this because she looked incredible. For 38 years old, she looks absolutely phenomenal. The little that she did in the ring looked crisp. The two Luthez presses, the big lick of the palm and the big slap, and her just going to work on Becky Lynch. I think this is going to be a great match, and it's going to really generate a lot of buzz, and getting Punk and Rollins in there for this storyline to kind of take it to the next level. I really do think that the wives now add a nice personal touch where the whole Vision and Rollins and Punk storyline wasn't really lighting the world on fire. I think they finally found a nice recipe here to take this into Survivor Series.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as AJ goes, I mean, thank God they didn't Def Rebel her.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
I don't think they will.
I would hope not. So she came out. She got, of course, Chicago was just the perfect place for it. Not that she's from Chicago, but that's where she currently lives. And it was one of the more memorable endings of SmackDown. And again, it's just weird how her return and her husband's return just parallel each other in many ways, the 10 years apart. So she came out and a little bit of physicality in there. She didn't have to do too much. Save it for Monday as far as that first promo. So that made sense. But yeah, it was a memorable moment. You say that it was the worst kept secret. They did not go out of their way to keep it a secret. And it kind of mirrored the whole Punk First Dance when he came back in AEW.
Yeah.
Where they never said his name. They never promoted him for the show. But everybody knew, you better tune in because CM Punk is coming back, right? They didn't have to say anything. In this case, WWE didn't have to say anything either. They just built it up in such a way where you knew she's coming out, right? Without them actually announcing it. And you could tell because it's reflected in the numbers that SmackDown did this week where it was back up because it had really crashed, I think, the week before because that was the where were they the week before?
It was on tape delay in Paris, or they were in Lyon, and it was Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, no, but the timing was all messed up because it was another international show. But it was way up again this week, and I'm sure, people anticipating the return of AJ Lee and knowing Punk had already said he was going to be there in Chicago, so what's going to happen? And that led to that. So I thought it came off great. I thought it was a really, you could tell how happy Punk was. He looked like he was about to cry because I'm sure he's been wanting his wife to come back, but not putting any pressure on her. It was entirely up to her whether she wanted to come back. And now, she's back. They get to work together. They get to travel together. So I'm sure he's as happy as could be. And like you said, she looked great. Everybody was glad to see her. And it was a happy, feel-good moment to go off the air on Friday.
How do you feel about the reaction to AJ being back? I know a lot of people, look at her. She even said it on Monday, as far as what people think of her. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. A lot of people owe a lot to her as far as, possibly getting involved with watching pro wrestling, the influence that she had in that time period where she was active. A lot of the stuff that she does outside of pro wrestling with, the mental health stuff, which is also very important. She's just relatable on a bunch of different levels. And I know a lot of people are looking at this nostalgia. They can't book a story. They only bring back these people because they need the cheap pop and they don't know what else to do in 2025. Then you got people going out there on social media. Oh, she's overrated, which we talked about last week. Neither one of us, and I think the chat pretty much agrees, it's not going to sit here and fucking dissect AJ Lee matches from 10 years ago, which I don't think anybody really ever did. She wasn't really all that stand out in the ring, but her influence is very large. And a lot of people are clipping and screenshotting cagematch.net and the ratings that she has over there. I'm like, you guys are fucking absolutely just...
Are there people doing that?
Bottom of the barrel fucking absolutely reaching for any sort of engagement and clickbait you can. What do you make of the overall reaction, the good and the bad? How do you feel about it?
Well, thankfully, I don't follow any of those people. I didn't see people taking screenshots of
I see
Cage Match.
Yes.
Cagematch.net. What's her rating on there? Probably like 6.0 or something.
Something like that. I didn't even look, bro.
God, who gives a shit? I didn't pay any attention to that. I think the reaction by and large has been positive. You're going to have people who, of course, are going to be sour about it and people who don't like, probably people who also just don't like Punk or anything associated with CM Punk. Maybe that's part of it. But I think by and large, the reaction has been pretty damn positive, especially from wrestlers, women in that division who are just ecstatic to have her back and probably never imagined they would have the chance to work with her. And you mentioned before, it's not really just her being back as a nostalgia pop. It's not. She signed a full-time multi-year contract, which surprised me. I wasn't expecting that either. But that's the belief, is that she signed a full-time multi-year deal. So it's not a case where she's going to be popping in every now and then. I mean, I'm not saying she'll be wrestling on Raw every Monday, but she's back full time, and she's going to have the chance to work with Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky and all those people.
Bailey.
Bailey. Sure. Naomi when she gets back, because I know Naomi is dying to work with her also. So that's really cool. The thing about AJ, and again, I think it goes to her popularity, she really always had and still does have that sort of girl next door vibe that I think people, it might be easier for some fans to relate to than someone like the way Charlotte Flair was portrayed for so many years as the queen and sort of above everybody else. AJ was never booked as some sort of dominant force, on the roster. And she comes across very likable and very down to earth. So I think a lot of that also speaks to her popularity as well. And you're going to see it now too. She's going to be very popular. Her merch, I know, is already flying off, the shelves there, and she's doing well in that department. So it's a coup for WWE to get her back, and now she'll be a part of that women's division. And there's any number of stories, that you can tell there, and any number of matches that she can be a part of. But getting her back full time, that's not something I was expecting, because even as recently as 2 or 3 years ago, she was doing interviews talking about the reason why you would never see her wrestle again, because she had a very serious neck injury.
Yeah.
And to this day, she still gets numbness, in her hands and her fingers. So her attitude always was, I got out before it could get worse. And so I was very fortunate and I was very lucky. And all of a sudden we've gone from that to, it's not like she just made a cameo in the Rumble. Like, she's back full time. So something changed in the course of the last 2 or 3 years, at least in her mind, that led to her really wanting to come back and thinking that she can do so safely.
Yeah, I hope for her sake that medical advances have been made and she's all right as far as what she does in the ring, as far as the neck injury is concerned. But to go back to a point that you made before, she is incredibly relatable, probably one of the more relatable talents that you'll see in the entire sport, honestly, just by the way she dresses, the shoes that she wears, the music that she listens to. The mental health, like I said, is also a huge factor. Who she's married to is a huge factor. Comics and video games. She's basically, she's normal. Like you said, she's not playing a character. She's out there being herself. That's why we all loved Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan when he was at the height of the Yes movement. Like you look at him and he's just a blue collar guy like everybody else, and you wanted to see him fucking overtake the evil empire and the fucking machine.
Austin,
yeah.
Austin was the everyman.
Mick Foley.
Well, yeah, Foley, but just Austin being like the most popular star of all time, basically. Like, he would come out, black boots, black trunks, bald head, cussing up a storm, drinking beer. And it's like, man, he wants to beat up his boss.
Yeah.
And he's just like me. He comes out and drinks beer and wants to beat up his boss. I can relate to that. I can get behind that. And how much money did they make off that? So there is something to be said for, male or female, finding that star who is relatable to the audience.
I agree. I don't know how you feel as far as when you think of certain situations that happen, how much you care to look back on the what ifs. But I'm going to ask you here because I do think that it's not important to the topic, but I do think that it's quite the interesting discussion to be had. If Punk and AEW did not end the way that they did, and he was still there, do you think that we'd see this moment happen over there in AEW and AJ Lee would be back in the ring with AEW?
It's impossible to say. I don't know what it was that finally made her go, I'm ready to come back. Was it specific names she wanted to work with that are on the WWE roster right now?
More so than the AEW, I would say, yeah.
Well, maybe. There are some women that she was at least somewhat familiar with previously, but most of the women on the roster now were not around when she was there last time. So in AEW, it would have been a similar thing where it would be all new faces. So I don't know what the deciding factor was for her. I would think that if Punk was still there, there was probably a pretty good chance that she could have been coaxed out of retirement, whether it was a full-time deal or a one-off. Is a pretty good chance we would have seen her there. But I haven't even really dabbled in that or touched on that. I know there's a lot of fans online also who were like, oh, Tony missed, Tony fumbled. It's like, you know what? Get over it. The Punk thing at this point to me is just it's old news. It's ancient history. We've documented what happened there so many times. The last thing Tony Khan wanted to do was lose CM Punk. But he had to make a decision at that time. I'm not going to relitigate that whole thing over again. It went down the way that it was supposed to go down, right? There's certain things you can't do. And so Punk had to go, and Punk went. And maybe Tony's looking at it and going, man, in a different timeline, maybe that could have been something we were doing on AEW television. I don't think he's going to wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night worrying about it because he has no control over it. So that's just how I look at it.
Well, they are together on WWE television in a match now with Seth Rollins and his wife, Becky Lynch, WrestlePalooza mixed tag team match. And just to go based off what Jason said here about the contract that she signed, it is not a one-off. It is a full-time deal. How long that deal is, I don't know. 2-3 years. WWE typically signs for at least minimum 3 years, most 5 years. Don't know what she is coming back for, but Fightful's report did say that the excitement for her return was high backstage, and a few talent backstage at SmackDown who were not scheduled for the show actually attended the show just to be there for AJ Lee's return. So goes to show you how important this was to a lot of different people. And she's happy, Punk's happy, and that honestly is all that really matters. They are where they need to be, and they are where God wanted them to be, and that's basically it. Now, as far as her return on Monday, we got her in the ring cutting a promo, which I thought, like you said, Jason, was great. We got the attack on Becky Friday, the first in-ring promo on Monday Night Raw. I thought overall, largely, it was very good. I do think that there were a few nerves being out there for the first time in 10 years, which is obviously understandable. I do think if I was to say one negative thing about it, I do think that it was a little long-winded. I do think that the segment went over 20 minutes at least.
No,
you don't think so?
It went about 18 minutes.
Okay.
And it was the one thing on the show I think that most people were probably looking forward to.
Yeah.
So you're going to allot the most amount of time to that segment. So I didn't feel that segment was overly long-winded. We've had some segments recently on TV that have gone long, including, frankly, the stuff on SmackDown with Cena at the beginning. With Cena, and then Sammy came out. If you think back to Friday, between the Cena promo and then the match with Sammy, that ate up the first 45 minutes of the show.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
So I never felt that way with that promo last night. I think that, you mentioned before her touching on her mental health journey, and then I never thought we'd hear a chant for therapy in the middle of a wrestling show. And I think there's something kind of poetic about a bunch of wrestling fans chanting therapy, but
yes.
There's a message in there somewhere, especially if you scroll social media.
Most of them need it, yes.
Yes. So that was kind of interesting. But the thing that struck me about AJ, watching that segment, and this is the other thing I think that really stood out about her the first time. People talk about the quality of her matches and all that stuff. It was her ability to communicate and to connect with the audience on the microphone, whether she was a heel or whether she was a babyface. She carried herself in such a way. She had a certain confidence about her that a lot of the other women did not have when they were on the mic. And it came across that way last night, even though she had been away for 10 years. I didn't really get the impression that there were too much nerves like I was expecting. She sort of just slipped right back into that role as if time had never really gone by at all, where she just has a certain confidence on the mic. She's very good. Something that her and Punk have in common. They put a microphone in their hand and it just comes naturally to them. And then Becky came out, and we know what Becky can do on the mic. So I thought the back and forth was really good. And then ultimately AJ is the one who made the pitch, for the tag team match. But she had stolen the Intercontinental title, so when she came out last night, she was already wearing it. And
is that a foreshadowing of what's to come after WrestlePalooza?
It is, because if you were to put me on the spot right now and ask me, and I know we're not doing predictions yet, but if you were to ask me who do I think is taking the losing fall in that match at WrestlePalooza, I think Becky is.
Yeah.
I think Becky is to set up a singles match for the title at Crown Jewel.
I think that's the way. I could
I
see
think
that.
so too. And I think AJ wearing that title last night will be the only time for now that she's wearing that title, because I don't think they're going to just throw it on her. But I do think that that's what this is building to. But yeah, I mean, as far as the segment itself, they were all out there. Punk wasn't out there initially. Punk came out later on and tried to give Seth a GTS, and he slipped away. And now they're promoting a face-to-face for next Monday. So they're going to run this back again, only this time that all four of them will be out there. And I don't know if they're going to announce some rule where, you can't get physical with each other. I don't know if it's going to be a contract signing. But that'll be the final sort of hard sell for the tag match at WrestlePalooza. But I think it's the right call to make, because AJ being there now, it just adds an element that was missing before. How many times have we seen Punk and Rollins this year? How do you do this differently, right? They found a way. They get the wives involved. AJ's back for the first time in 10 years. It adds a whole other dimension now to the match. And it doesn't just have to be Punk and Rollins one-on-one. You could save that for a show, later on. So I think it's the smart play. I think it's a great attraction for them to promote for that show. They got Brock, whatever they think that's going to be worth at this point. Again, I don't know how many people are clamoring in 2025 to see another Brock Lesnar John Cena match, but it's Brock's first match in 2 years, and it's going to be AJ's first match in 10 and a half. So that's two big attractions for them right there.
Yeah, I thought what they did last night was as simple as you could possibly get for pro wrestling. She came out wearing the IC title, like you said, and she just kind of flaunted that around, wearing stolen merchandise from Becky Lynch, and she used that as a vehicle to get what she wanted, and then ultimately gave the belt back when she got the tag team match that she wanted with Punk, Rollins, and Becky. So I thought it was very, very just simple, straightforward, not overthinking pro wrestling storytelling. So I'm liking Becky Lynch and what she's doing. I've actually quite enjoyed Becky's heel work coming out of the Lyra feud. I think now working with Rollins, she's going to take it to another level. I know she has this thing where she says that she's the greatest female professional wrestler of all time. Sports Illustrated said it, and last night she's mentioning the Milwaukee Tribune said it, and all these other publications said it. If she keeps
Soon
that
she'll
going,
say the Wrestling Observer said it. I want to see her come out and say the Wrestling Observer says that I'm the best.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is Dynamite? Come on.
Yeah.
So I hope she keeps that running, man. I actually quite like that. It's just a little thing I enjoy, So that was a great segment last night. We got the WrestlePalooza match official for September 20th in Indianapolis. You mentioned contract signings. I guess we'll get into this happening on Monday Night Raw. I guess not happening on Monday. Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky did not have a contract signing. Triple H was asked about this by Tyrese Halliburton on the Pat McAfee show today, and he had no idea what the fuck was going on Monday Night Raw because he was with Tony Hinchcliffe somewhere filming Kill Tony, which I find, just very unbelievable. Like he didn't know what happened on Raw. Give me a break. He formatted the whole fucking show with his creative team. But I don't know why Stephanie hasn't been on the show to build to this match. Do you have any concern here, Jason, as to what's going on with Stephanie? Because I know she hasn't really been a factor on the show for almost 2 months now. And the only time she's actually been in the ring was with a 6-man tag team match against, I don't even remember who it was against. I know she teamed with Rhea Ripley and Nikki Bella. But are you concerned about why there's such a lack of Stephanie Vaquer going into this match with Io at WrestlePalooza?
I'm always concerned by a lack of Stephanie Vaquer because the more we get to see her on the shows, the better. She's great. What concerns me as a fan watching this is that they're building to a championship match with someone who has not been present on the show. She's been a ghost. And so I laugh when people say, oh, Stephanie should win the title. Like, to me, it just reinforces the reasons why she should not win the title at WrestlePalooza. Because even though people like her and she may be popular, it's ice cold with her right now because she just hasn't been around to do anything. So I wouldn't blow her first world championship win on a cold match like this. Not that the match itself is not going to be great. I think once the bell rings, those two are going to go out there and have a kick-ass match. But it's not the right time to even talk about putting the title on her, I don't think. I don't know why she wasn't there last night. It could have been a legitimate issue whether it was a travel issue or something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, but they were talking like the match is going to happen. She's just not available tonight. So that to me sounded like something happened and she legitimately couldn't be there. So maybe it was something that the company couldn't avoid, but it just sucks because we know why Naomi had to vacate the championship, right? That was, can't do anything about that, right? Life gets involved sometimes. But then whatever happened last night, another segment, another plan for Stephanie gets thrown out the window. And it's like, man, I certainly hope she can be on the show next week. They got one Raw left before WrestlePalooza. We have to get her on the show. I know promos maybe aren't her strong suit. She's not going to go out there and have like a promo battle with Io. I mean, you could say the same thing for Io. If I didn't know any better, it's like, are they avoiding trying to have like these two in the ring together?
Maybe. I was gonna say, you mentioned contract signing, the fact that they canceled it. Maybe they're using the contract signing gimmick for AJ Lee, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch in the go home show for WrestlePalooza. Maybe, who knows?
It could be. It could very well be. But she should at least have a presence on the show. I can't explain why the last 5 or 6 weeks she's barely been visible. I haven't heard anything about her having an injury. It's always possible they're keeping something hush-hush, something minor. But I'm going to assume that's not the case, or we probably would have heard about it. So I don't know. It's as if they just didn't know what to do with her. And then because the match got pushed back, it's like, well, we don't really have a plan for her, so we'll just keep her off the show as long as possible because we don't really have a good idea on how to use her on the show, and that sucks. But this is the situation that we're in now. They wanted to hold off on a big match like this for that first ESPN show because there was no reason they couldn't do this match 2 weeks ago.
Well, I don't give a shit when we get the match. Match is going to be great no matter if there's 3 weeks of build or 0 weeks of build. It doesn't matter.
I'm not saying the match. Match quality has nothing to do with it. What I'm saying is this match between Io and Stephanie, like when Adam Pearce said, I need another week to let you know who your opponent is going to be. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You picked the most logical person. You didn't need an extra week to come up with, hey, Io Sky. They just decided we don't want to do the match in Paris. We want to hold off for this big ESPN show that we're doing, but we got to wait another 3 weeks to do it. So everything just kind of got shifted back. And in the meantime, Io's got something going on, right? She's got her story with the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea.
It's probably the best thing on Monday Night Raw, honestly, outside the Rollins stuff.
And Stephanie is just left twisting in the wind with nothing really to do because she has no involvement in that story. So what else are you going to do with her?
No, chat. Stephanie is not pregnant. Give me a break. Can you imagine? I don't know where you heard. Some people said that they heard it on social media. Sure.
Oh, well, sure. Then, gee, I mean, it must be true.
I don't know what's going on there, but we will definitely be getting that match. You know, it's funny. We got Stephanie and Julia all over NXT before they got called up, and now both of them can't find TV time. It's like, what the fuck are they doing, man? It's like, is it that different from NXT and who's running NXT to the main roster? It's crazy to even think about. I mean, this woman held she held 2 of the biggest championships in the entire division, Stephanie, at the same time.
Well, not only that, I mean, she was all over the place. She was all over. Sometimes she'd be on the main roster show. Did they have her at that first AAA show?
They did.
They did, yeah. So, I mean, they were using her like crazy there for a while. And that's why it's just so weird that she just kind of disappeared.
Money in the Bank weekend. I think she wrestled like 3 different shows.
Yeah, that's right. 3 shows in one day.
Yeah.
Right. Or one weekend.
It was one week. Yeah, she wrestled SmackDown. And then she did the Worlds Collide show teaming with Lola Vice. And then she did Money in the Bank, the ladder match.
Yeah. Yeah. she was everywhere. And now
we have no problem with. I mean, the more the better, honestly.
No, but I don't think she wrestled a single. I mean, somebody can fact check me on this, but I don't think she wrestled a single match in the month of August.
No, not at all.
Very strange.
It's very, very strange. But they promised we're getting that match. Hopefully, that's still the case come Monday.
I hope
we only got one more Monday Night Raw till we get to WrestlePalooza. The other big thing that happened on Monday night was AJ Styles. He wrestled El Grande Americano, which I don't know I don't know where I read it. I don't even remember if I mentioned this last week. They actually are enjoying WWE. They feel like Kaiser's portraying the gimmick better than Chad Gable portrayed the gimmick. Do you believe that?
I think he's doing a good job. I don't want to say it's better than Gable. It's just different.
It is different. I wouldn't say it's better, me personally.
No, he's doing a good job. Look, what was he doing before?
Creeping in the background.
We just got done talking about Stephanie over the last month. What were they doing with Kaiser? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, right? When Penta debuted, not long after that, he and Kaiser were working together, and when that ended and Penta moved on, they had nothing for Kaiser. And I remember reading reports about it, like how impressed they were with Kaiser, and it made you think like, okay, they're going to really find something for him to do now that he's kind of branched away from Gunther. And he just sat in catering and they had nothing for him to do. So on the one hand, it's like, good for him. He took this gimmick that they gave him and he's making the most of it. I see video of him when he's working these AAA shows and he's in Mexico and the crowd goes crazy for him.
It's fucking great.
Like, he's a huge baby face down there. So that's great. At the same time, it's like kind of sad that it took putting him under a lucha mask and what started as, I mean, it kind of still is, like a goofy comedy gimmick to give him something to do. But, you know, if you're Kaiser, it's like, okay, if this is what they have for me, I'm going to take it and I'm going to make the most of it. And when Chad Gable comes back, and I don't know when that is. I think he had surgery in July for torn rotator cuff surgery. I don't know what typical layoff
could be
is for
late
that.
December, early January for him to come back.
Yeah, I'm probably not until the very end of the year. But if this is still going on, and it probably will be, when Gable comes back, I mean, there's a few different directions you can go in. You can have the feuding Americanos. You could put them together as some sort of team, right? There's a couple of different ways you could go with it. Good for Kaiser. At least they're actually using him, and he's actually working instead of standing in the back collecting dust like a statue.
Yeah, now we just got to get Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne back on television. But apparently, according to some sources, they are under the other two masks. So,
well, I know Pete Dunne for a fact has been one of the Americanos because I could tell. But I also I had read that Pete apparently is assisting behind the scenes with AAA as well.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but we'll see what happens with these Americanos. But AJ Styles did wrestle the Grande Americano last night, and he ended up winning in 9 minutes. But it was what happened before the match that really got people talking. And before that, John Alba of Sports Illustrated put out an article, an exclusive behind Sports Illustrated's website. And he mentioned that AJ Styles has a contract coming up in February of 2026. So this is an exclusive from Sports Illustrated. It all started, Jason, where his son echoed some complaints about his father's booking on Instagram by commenting to a poster that largely said that they're kind of disappointed with the creative direction that AJ Styles has taken on WWE television. So Sports Illustrated went on to say that prior to resigning with WWE on the most recent extension, Styles did indeed put feelers out about potential options outside of the company. Specifically, it was noted that he was generating major interest on the convention circuit from promoters, and it was mentioned that the interest was mutual, or at least exploratory. It is unclear as to whether or not Styles was looking into wrestling for other promotions, though he did show up at Slammiversary as part of WWE's working relationship with TNA. Several years ago, it was reported that Dave Meltzer said Styles was eyed for the debut episode of Dynamite in 2019 of October 2019, where he was expected to debut in the company alongside Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, in a main event angle. It said Gallows and Anderson re-signed with WWE, and Styles remained with the company as well.
That's how we ended up with Jake Hager in the debut episode of Dynamite.
That's right.
Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, really. So I guess we'll start here before we get into what Styles said before the match during the quote-unquote commercial on Monday Night Raw. I don't know what Styles does next, but the only thing I could really come up with last night, Jason, when I mentioned this little story here from Sports Illustrated, is I don't think, and there are rumors that some people in WWE do not like AJ Styles or have a problem with AJ Styles. You mentioned Paul Heyman before. I don't know what really caused all that. And Bruce Pritchard, I also heard, is not fond of AJ Styles for whatever reason. But I don't think Triple H is going to allow AJ Styles to just get up and walk into AEW, and him being such a great in-ring worker, just letting him get up and walk at his age even now and still be able to put on fucking match of the year classics with some of the people that are over there. I just physically don't see that happening. Now, AJ could always say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to go explore and do what I want to do and then end my career. But I just can't physically see him ending his career anywhere but WWE. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere. He had the chance at the end of his previous deal, maybe the one before the most recent extension. There was talk then of maybe him leaving and go because he's got friends in AEW and he's friendly with the Bucks and he opted to stay with WWE. And I think in interviews before I've heard him make comments subsequent to that he sees himself ending his career there. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. It doesn't mean he wouldn't consider it. It doesn't mean that if he wants to sign one more deal, he might not use that as leverage. That's what I would do. I mean, it's smart business.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Does he want to sign another full-time deal? He's been talking a lot in recent time about winding things down. He posted that image on his Instagram recently of the sands of the hourglass with his logo in it. And people saw that as a sign that, maybe his time is coming to an end soon. So I don't know if he wants to take on a part-time schedule. I don't know if he wants to get out of the ring completely, and maybe he has an interest in the coaching side of things, because certainly AJ Styles in that role, or like contributing in an NXT capacity. Imagine Shawn Michaels running NXT, and he's got AJ Styles like right alongside him, helping out.
Unbelievable.
It'd be amazing. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the sort of thing he wants to do or not, but him leaving and then signing a contract to go work for AEW, I think that ship has sailed. I think if that was something he really wanted to do, he would have done it 2 contracts ago. And the fact that he didn't, and now he's a little bit older, I'm sure Tony would take him in a heartbeat.
I'm sure Tony's already got a blank check waiting for him.
Yeah, and I would probably do the same. But I don't think that's in his future. And as far as this stuff here, is there a legitimate feeling maybe on his part of unhappiness or frustration that they're not doing more with him? I could see that. And I saw the comment that his son posted under a post talking about that, saying, basically agreeing and saying like, oh, you have no idea. So there could be legitimate frustration there, but I think it needs to be mentioned because there are some people who, heard about this promo last night or saw it, and they think that, it was like a legitimate shoot to some degree. Like, no. They're starting to work an angle of some kind with AJ. And I don't know where it's going to go. It certainly gave you the impression when he's making that comment that somebody in the back doesn't want me here. Who's he talking about? He's talking about Triple H. Are they going to work an angle with AJ and Triple H is not wrestling him. Triple H is not going to get physical. We all thought they were going to work Triple H into the whole Rock angle and Cody and everything. And boy, that went nowhere last year. So I don't know. What does that even look like? If he's referring to Triple H, what does that even look like? I don't know what that could possibly be leading to, but I'm intrigued.
Sure.
And I can't say that I've been intrigued by a whole hell of a lot that they've done recently with AJ Styles. So it's a step in the right direction. The key will be, do they continue with this sort of thing on the show? Because that segment aired during the commercial. I know they put it on their YouTube channel after, but that didn't air on TV. So at some point, this will have to bleed over into the actual show, because if this is just an angle they run like off camera or during commercials, it could just be for the social media crowd. Then to me, they're not serious about pursuing that story. So this was just week 1. We have to wait and see what they do next week and then the week after, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, likewise. WWE is in this unreal era where everything is being filmed. Cameras are always on. This was happening away from the commercial, quote unquote, but the cameras are always running. So they know what they were doing there. And they uploaded this to YouTube, which is another dead giveaway that they want you to know and want you to see and hear what's going on. Now, he didn't go out there and go off script and just say what he wanted to say. He was planning to go out there and say it, and they're going to really just kind of run it with this angle that happened on social media here. Whatever his son said, they're going to turn it into a work. So I don't know where it goes, but he did say that someone there does not want him here. I got nobody watching my back. Gallows, Anderson, they're not here. Meechin's on SmackDown. It's like someone orchestrated a way for me to not win anymore, not have any help. I'll let you make your own conclusions. So people are going to think, first and foremost, Triple H. And then he acknowledged the off-air nature of his promo, hinting that he was speaking freely and he was allowed to do so here during the commercial instead of being on live television, but they're still live. The cameras are still running. He said, by the way, we are here right now all over the world, but to the rest of everybody, this is a commercial break. I'm telling you something that you're probably not supposed to hear, but somebody does not want me here. Now, I mentioned this, Jason. I'm gonna kind of present this to you. I want to see how you feel about this. I said this on my review last night. I do think, and I said, I don't know why they didn't change the title in France, but we all knew Dominic has this AAA match with Vikingo coming up for the Mega Championship, which is happening on Friday after SmackDown. I don't even think Dominic, initially I thought first he would win. Now I'm going back on that. I don't think Dominic wins the title. I think AJ shows up again. We get a match for the Intercontinental title one more time, and I hope it happens at WrestlePalooza. I do think that those guys deserve a WrestlePalooza spot. Title match, title change on WrestlePalooza with Styles winning the IC title. I think with all the tension that we're seeing from Finn, not knowing what Dominic is doing, why he's talking to the Americanos, why he's hiding all of his business away from the Judgment Day. You see the tension that's building with Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic even said last night, oh, you guys wouldn't understand. It's lucha shit. It's lucha things. Okay. Balor doesn't understand it. He's been with the Judgment Day. I'm sure he would understand if Dominic explained it to him, but Dominic is hiding something from him for whatever reason. And he mentioned that, you guys got banned. You didn't help me. I need help. And Dominic is just finding his own way. I think if we get an IC title match between Styles and Dominic, that Balor costs Dominic the title. And I genuinely think all of this is leading to Styles joining Balor, JD McDonough, in some new, I don't know if it's going to be the Judgment Day. I said, and I do think that this is what the Judgment Day is to Triple H. It's almost like his version of the Bullet Club, a cool faction that just hangs out backstage and they do whatever they want on the show, and they make their own rules. I do think that with Styles, Balor, and McDonough, I do think that we get more of that Bullet Club type vibe on Monday Night Raw, and I do think that these are the new friends that he's going to align with. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know where that leaves Dominic Mysterio. Maybe he joins the Americanos, because we all know Liv Morgan's coming back and she's going to be an uber babyface when she gets back. And like you said, Dominic was cheered during that segment with Vic Joseph up in the mezzanine. Who knows if he's going to end up being a babyface after all this is over? Probably. But I do think that Styles is going to join Balor, and we're going to get some new Bullet Club formation here with Styles and Balor.
Yeah, I don't get that vibe.
Okay.
It's an interesting idea. I don't hate it. I don't think that's where it's going. I just don't think that they want to really break up, the Judgment Day or realign the Judgment Day before Liv gets back. Liv is probably going to be back at the beginning of the year, right? And we're not that far off from that. So when she comes back, there's still that story with Roxanne to pursue. I don't see some great realignment of the Judgment Day before she gets back. What I can see is AJ winning the Intercontinental title. And look, we just saw John Cena wrestling Sami Zayn on Friday for the U.S. title. If there was any chance of us getting a John Cena AJ Styles match, it could be a situation where we get Cena and AJ for the IC title on like an episode of Raw or something. That I could see. I could see, because I don't see AJ as like a final opponent for Cena. I don't think they would want him to be that guy. But it would be a shame to not get one more match between them. And if Styles wins the IC title, I have gotten so many messages from people in the last few months asking me or pitching ideas for John Cena to challenge for the Intercontinental title before he retires, because it's like the one title he's never held. And I still don't. Like, I can understand why people would want to see that, but like, does John Cena really care that much about winning the Is he Sheamus, where he has to win the Intercontinental title because he's never won it before? Like, I don't think he gives a shit. And I don't think that they see that title as being important enough to build a whole story around it. But for one night on like an episode of TV, you could certainly build a story around John Cena wrestling AJ Styles one last time and possibly winning the one title that he never held. I think that would be a cool TV story for one night. That I could see. I almost thought that's where you were going with this when you said AJ wins the title and then you kind of took it in a different direction. I think there's a better chance of that idea happening than AJ joining with the Judgment Day.
I don't mind that either. I think that works, especially given John Cena's work as of late in the last few matches he's had. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't at least explore what he could bring to the table in a match against AJ Styles. Is it going to be what he did with Styles at the Rumble many years ago? No. But I do think that with Cena wrestling the way he is now as a babyface, I do think that it's something they should seriously think about.
Yeah, and if AJ wins that title, let's say, like what you said, they do the match of WrestlePalooza, and maybe Balor does kind of accidentally on purpose cost him the championship. You mentioned those Raws that Cena is committed to in November, one of which is in Boston. I mean, that would be a hell of a place to have an AJ Cena match for the IC title.
I think that works. I think that's actually brilliant. I don't know. Hopefully, they're thinking along the same wavelengths there, but we'll see for sure. I mentioned with Styles winning the IC title that it sets up matches with Rusev possibly for the IC title. Because I think Rusev wants to win championship gold. I think he mentioned it last night in a segment with Penta, which we got them wrestling last night for the first time ever. Dragunov is on his way back, if not already cleared. Definitely close to being cleared. I think he fits into that whole secondary title situation as well. Sheamus, as always, with the IC title. I hope that they hold off on something like that for Wrestle. Like you mentioned last week, I think if Rusev ends up with the title, we go into WrestleMania next year in Vegas with Sheamus and Rusev having one more match, and Sheamus beats Rusev for the title. I really like that. I think that would be great. But I think the IC title is just kind of, I don't want to say damaged, but it's not really as strong as it was in previous reigns, like Gunther with 600 plus days, as it has been. And I think Styles could really kind of resuscitate that title. That's why I want it on him.
Yeah, and honestly, the women's Intercontinental title is more heavily focused on right now than the men's Intercontinental title.
Actually, the IC title is probably the most important title in the entire women's division, honestly, compared to both championships. We got no champion on one show, and then we got that dismal women's division on Friday night.
It's true. No, you're absolutely right. Across both brands, the most coveted or heavily focused on women's championship right now is Becky's title. But that's also the power of having a name like Becky holding a title like that, because it can help elevate that championship. I mean, look at the way that title is treated as opposed to the women's U.S. title on SmackDown.
Fucking ridiculous. Not even worth comparing, honestly. And then we got Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, back to Nia Jax. I'm like, what is going on here, bro? So that title around Becky Lynch has done very good things for both Becky and that title. A couple of more notes here from Raw. Do you see Rhea after last night, Rhea Ripley, finally getting on that WrestlePalooza card? Because I know we mentioned this last week, and I think we both came to the conclusion that it would be ridiculous to not even include her on that major show, ESPN, for the first time ever. Do you finally sense after last night that they may be doing Rhea versus Asuka at the show?
Rhea versus Asuka, or based on that backstage segment, I could see a tag match where it's Rhea and Nikki against Asuka and Kairi.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
Well, but that seems to be maybe where we're headed here, because I don't think the Nikki and Asuka stuff is over. I mean, they did the match, but then they did that backstage segment. Why do that backstage segment if the issue is over between Nikki and Asuka?
Chad is saying Stephanie Vaquer just showed up on NXT. For what? What is she there for?
She could be on NXT, but not Raw, where she was supposed to be.
I don't know. Very weird. Very weird situation.
That is very weird. But at least she's back, so the match is on. That's the most important thing.
Yes, that's the most important thing. And the last thing here from Monday night was the Jey Uso LA Knight situation. Now, the Usos are back together. They cut an opening promo to open the show last night. We definitely saw how valuable they are together, and I got a sense of the old Usos back, because I always said when they cut their Uso penitentiary spiel and they kind of just went in on whoever they were feuding with, you stopped what you were doing, dropped everything, and just listened. Jimmy is a very good promo, and I do think that Jay feeds off Jimmy in a way where Jay can't cut a promo on his own very well, but when Jimmy's there, I think they both make each other work very, very good. I'm enjoying what they are doing here as far as getting them back together. I think both of them need it. Jimmy needs it for sure. Jay needed it. The tag team division needed it. But we're going right back to a tag team match against the Vision. And if this is the tag team match, which is now confirmed for the WrestlePalooza show, Jason, this is basically the same match that we got on night one of SummerSlam, just minus Roman Reigns. Now, I know it is the Usos, and they work differently than Jay works with Roman, but It's the same thing, and we've been getting the same formula every single week where it's Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker versus a babyface or a couple of baby faces, and it's just mix and mash and just repeat over and over again. It's the same fucking main event every week for 5 straight months now. I can't take it. It's the same opening to the show as well. It's not enjoyable when they just keep rinsing and repeating. But LA Knight and Jey Uso got into a situation in the open where LA Knight moved Bronson Reed accidentally, quote unquote, squashed Jey Uso in the corner. And Jey was about to leave the building in the middle of the show because Jimmy asked him what's going on, what's the game plan. I don't want anything to do with LA Knight. You know, LA Knight is not our issue. The vision, Jimmy says, is our problem. And he wants nothing to do with the LA Knight. He leaves the building, but not before Jimmy says, you know, you're not sounding like yourself. You're starting to sound a little bit more like Roman. You know, he didn't really take too kindly to that, but he said, well, maybe acting like myself just isn't working anymore. And he leaves the building. So we get the main event of LA Knight and Bronson Reed last night. Fun match, whatever. And we get the ending where Jimmy comes out to help LA Knight. There's no problems there. Jey comes out. And at the end of the show, we get Jey Uso spearing LA Knight. And that's the way they go off the air. And people are like, oh, he's turning heel. We're getting a Jey Uso heel turn. I don't know how you felt about it. I didn't get a sense that they're turning Jey Uso heel. I don't think that they would ever think to do that. I just think that Jey Uso needs an attitude adjustment. And I do think that he needs a slight different character going into this tag team match and going into War Games where he's not all about the yeet and it's more like the Uso penitentiary stuff and he's going to get his brother back on board. What'd you make of the entire situation? And do you think that this is a heel turn for Jey Uso?
No. I mean, they just reunited the Usos. Yeah. I mean, they're not turning Jey Uso heel. Look, I'm all for character development for Jey Uso because it's just, you know, he's been doing the Yeet Man thing for a while, and there hasn't really been much more to it than that. To me, Jey Uso was at his most interesting in the middle of that Bloodline story when he was still a heel and he was very suspect of Sami Zayn, and that's where that character was really being developed. And he hasn't been that interesting in a long time. So if they want to develop his character in some way that gives him a harder edge, I think that's probably a good thing. The thing that struck me about, you know, was really LA Knight. LA Knight's in this weird situation right now.
I want to see if you say the same thing I said last night because I said one specific thing and people were like, "Yeah, I could see that working." So I'm interested to see what you say here.
Well, what I was going to say is like I was crowing for a while about you got to get him off SmackDown. Like he's just dying on the vine on this show. Got to move him over to Raw. Get him away from the Bloodline. So they moved him over to Raw, and now he went from the Bloodline Vortex to the Vision Vortex. And I looked back and I said, LA Knight has not won a singles match since his win over Seth Rollins on Saturday night's main event, which was only a win because Seth got, you know, quote unquote injured during that match. That was in mid-July.
July 12th?
July 12th. And he has not won a singles match since then.
One out of his last 7, chat.
However, he has been in the main event of Raw almost every single week. But you look at the matches that he's been a part of going back to mid-July, late July, it's almost always some combination of him and the Vision. It's him against Braun Breaker. Last night, it was him against Bronson Reed, who beat him clean, by the way, with a move that wasn't even his finish. I will point that out to you. And then he's wrestled Seth a couple of times. There's been some tag matches in there. Him and Punk as a team. Him and Jey as a team. Clash in Paris. He was part of the 4-way. Probably the standout, honestly, in that match. And it's like, how many different combinations of this can they give us where he loses every single time? Like being in the main event, great. Being in the main event and losing every single time, not great. So if any of these guys are going heel soon, if I had to choose someone to go heel, it ain't going to be Jey Uso. It's going to be LA Knight. Because if anybody could use a change, it's LA Knight. Now, that's the best idea because he's still very over. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised, frankly. He's still as over and as popular as he is, despite all of the losing, and he gets that shot and he falls short. Where the hell do they go with him at this point? It's great that he's involved in like a show closing story like this almost every week, but where is this going? how is this going to elevate him at the end of all, or is it going to elevate him in some way when we get to the end of this?
If he turns heel, like you said, what does he do? I honestly feel like if he turns heel, he's just going to continue being a loser.
I'm not saying that that's the answer. That's why I don't know. I don't know where he goes. I mean,
if you can't beat him, bro, join him. I think he joins Division. I think he joins Rollins. You're gonna need war games, man. You're gonna need some war games. Fucking strength in numbers there. They only got 3. Who's the 4th?
This is like the NWO where guys just got tired of being beaten up by them every week, so they just joined.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what that means for the babyface side, but I think Rollins is going to get LA Knight to join him, and then maybe they add one more, depending on who that is, with the rumors that we've heard. But what else is there for him to do?
So he's going to join them just because he's so sick and tired of getting his ass
because he's a loser. Yes.
Because he's that's a great reason. That's a great.
Why
reason.
not? I mean, it's not going to get you the world championship that you want, but what else are you going to do?
So that would be my next question then. What's the goal then? Okay, he joined them. He's not winning the world title now. We know that. Unless AJ wins the Intercontinental title and then LA Knight is a heel.
Sure.
Now, I know but we've already seen AJ and LA Knight. That being said, could LA then take the IC title off of AJ?
What is it? What were people saying? That the show was too heel heavy or babyface heavy? Monday Night Raw.
No, I've said that the situation right now with the champions in WWE, very heel heavy. Every single championship except the U.S. title that Sammy just won is occupied right now by a heel. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, who else on Raw? Who has the tag team titles on Raw? Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Tiffany is the women's champion on SmackDown. She acts like a heel, whenever she's out there. It is very heel heavy right now in WWE. The heels just seem to always, and this is a Triple H thing, where the heels always seem to wind up on top, and they're just overly dominant. And I think to the detriment of the rest of the show many times. So I think that's a Triple H thing. It's not just a Raw thing.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with LA Knight. He's in probably a worse position than people feel AJ Styles is in. Honestly, I just don't know. I know a lot of people want to see him win some championship gold. I don't know. That IC title may be the best thing for him because I just don't see him. It is not in his cards to win a world championship right now. With the current landscape of the company, no. So that may be his fan base's best bet there. But we'll see what happens. I said it last night the same exact way. Jey Uso not turning heel. That's a terrible business move for WWE. I'm sure their partners would not even want to even entertain that as well. Netflix and ESPN. LA Knight, if they had a gun to their head, they would absolutely turn LA Knight first before they do Jey Uso. We'll see what happens going into WrestlePalooza. They may actually lose the Usos to the Vision because of LA Knight, so we'll see what happens.
Well, there's been a match announced. We got breaking news here.
Okay.
For next week's NXT. Now, next week's NXT is a homecoming show. I guess they're back at Full Sail.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. So not only was Stephanie Vaquera on NXT tonight, so was Tiffany Stratton, and so was Rhea Ripley.
Oh, boy.
And so they have made a match, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquera, and Tiffany Stratton against Fatal Influence on the show next
Talk about a fucking burial, huh? Holy shit.
Fatal Influence is going to be buried beneath the core of the earth next week, it looks like.
Oh, my God. So. And I heard chat say that it's DIY versus Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams as well.
Well, that I don't know. That might have happened at the very end of the show tonight.
That sounds pretty interesting, man. Those Full Sail shows, man, I missed them. I was actually at one Full Sail taping, 4 straight shows, man. I had a very good time. It was Johnny Gargano and Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship. It was a great time.
It's a big what if.
Yeah, he's a big what if too.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett, keeping with the Monday Night Raw theme before we get into some AEW discussion here. Wade Barrett, apparently, there was a piece of news where, following the commentary shakeup for WWE, which now sees Michael Cole and Corey Graves on Friday Night SmackDown, which was announced by Cole himself on Friday, that was previously Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. Now, they also, or I guess we also assume that Michael Cole will be doing his duties on Raw, because that was his show. But we all figured that Joe Tess is doing college football game day on Saturday and Friday into Saturday. He didn't want to really have the two overlap. So it was nice to see Joe Tess on Monday, because Monday's a better day for him to actually do his WWE duties than Friday. So at least until college football is over, Joe Tess might be the guy on Monday and Michael Cole on Friday. I don't want to see Michael Cole get burnt out or overwork himself. So that probably is the best decision. But where does that leave Wade Barrett? Because Corey Graves is now going to be on both shows. According to some reports here, Wade Barrett's going to be off the road following this commentary shakeup, and this is coming from PW Insider. Barrett will be off the road going forward and will not be moving to the Raw announce team. Commentary changes led to speculation about whether it is related to recent comments Barrett made about Nikki Bella on the Clash in Paris pre-show. Bella noted on her podcast that she wasn't thrilled about Barrett's comments regarding her age and stated that he avoided her at the following Raw backstage. However, the PW Insider report has not confirmed that this is the reason for the change. For his part, Barrett addressed the situation on Twitter, stating that he did not avoid Nikki Bella and would be happy to speak with her. He later noted that they had spoken and the issue was squashed. So he went on to clarify what the situation was with him being off the road. So he said that he is basically going to have time off and that this was approved 9 months ago. So he's going away for a little bit and he will be back after a few weeks and he'll be back doing his duties. Now, the comment, Jason, that Wade Barrett made, people made this into fucking World War III on social media. I didn't get what was going on here. Wade Barrett said something along the lines of Nikki Bella being desperate on the Clash in Paris pre-show. According to Barrett, Nikki would go on to challenge the women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch at the show, and that she was desperate to prove she was still in the game and still has it against this new generation of talent. Now, Nikki retaliated on her podcast, and, she said what she said, and things got smoothed over. But Wade Barrett then followed this up after things got smoothed over. He said, "Great news, Fight fans. Nikki and I have spoken. We've smoothed things over, and I've graciously been allowed back into the Bella Army. Fully paid up members since FCW 2008. A difference of perspective to which we are all entitled. But to be clear, some of the personal abuse that gets sent to Nikki on here is reprehensible and completely out of line, so let's cut that out immediately." So Wade Barrett ain't going anywhere. I didn't think he was because, in my opinion, he's probably the second best color guy in the business behind Corey Graves. But man, I looked at this, and the first thing that jumped off the page was, and I listened to this clip several times. I even listened to it as it was live, because I usually have the pre-shows on in the background. I'm not really paying attention, but he's a heel fucking commentator. He's supposed to say things and use words like desperate and goes against the baby faces, and he always sides with the heels. Like, what generation are these people growing up in, man? Like, a guy can't even do his job now. He's got to be blamed for hating Nikki Bella.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, I mean, in today's modern WWE, he may be considered a heel commentator, but compare him to like the heel commentators of the past. He's like not really a heel commentator. Like, what he said in that clip is the sort of thing that you would see like an analyst say on like an ESPN pre-show before a big game.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like he was going out of his way to be mean-spirited towards her because he's a heel. This whole thing was in response to, in the storyline, Becky Lynch, I think, called Nikki Bella desperate. Or maybe Nikki called Becky desperate, whatever it was. That's where the whole desperate line comes from. And so when I read these headlines online about how like Nikki Bella upset about Wade Barrett commenting about her age, like I went back and I listened to it, and I'm like, I listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, was there a part that got cut out that I didn't hear? Because I didn't hear him say anything about her age. In fact, he put her over very strongly at the beginning of that clip. And then to play off the whole desperate thing, he said, Nikki Bella may be the one who's desperate to show that she can hang with this current generation of female athletes, or whatever it was that he said. And I legitimately thought, like, I must be missing something here. Like, where is the controversial part? I heard nothing in there that was even remotely controversial. So it wasn't just the people on social media making a big deal about it. The fact that Nikki went on her podcast and went out of her way to even relay this. And then I think at the end, she's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine, because you brought it up. So obviously it bothered you. And then she thought that Wade was ignoring her in the locker room, which I wasn't there, so I don't know. Maybe she felt like he was.
Well, he said that that he didn't though. Like I don't know which story is true.
Yeah, so I mean that I can't comment on that, but like in terms of what he said on the pre-show, if this is what people were like, getting their undies in a bunch about, it's like, are we really at the point now where even something as innocuous as that is considered, controversial? That people are going to freak out over it? Because I didn't hear anything in there that could even be remotely construed as controversial. Like, is this where we are now, where everybody gets upset about even the slightest thing and it blows up into something that it really isn't?
It's like they woke up one morning, on this particular morning, and said, you know who we want to cancel today? Wade Barrett. We haven't gotten him yet. Like, this is what people do with their lives? Like, I don't understand it.
It's kind of pathetic, honestly. It's sad.
I don't know. Folks, none of these people would even survive with Bobby Heenan and what he said and what he did back in the day. You kidding me? Bobby Heenan would have been canceled fucking 1,000 times over with the
first time, the first mention in a Bobby Heenan match, if he was calling a Tito Santana match, the first mention of the flying jalapeno, that would have been it. Like, that would have been it. They would have been coming for Bobby with the pitchforks and the torches, because he would go for the flying forearm. He'd go, the flying jalapeno. And then Gorilla Monsoon would be like, will you stop? That would have been it. That would have been it. Bobby would have been
He's
done.
a Mexican jumping bean Monsoon. Look at him.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been it. He wouldn't survive one night.
Oh, my God, man. You guys, man, you got to cut this shit. Get off social media, please. It's fucking rotting everybody's fucking brain. Seriously. Anyway, that was the latest there on Wade Barrett. And that's all the real WWE news. There was another piece of news here. I don't know if you heard this. WWE's returning to China. Sean Ross Sapp has learned that numerous people of influence within WWE push for WWE to hold a major event in China in the coming years. Specifically, they've heard Hong Kong mentioned with a PLE event discussed internally within the company as a possibility. That's certainly going to be different. Now, it's become something of a September tradition between 2016 and 2019 to go to China as WWE has run house shows and special events over there, but that was halted due to the pandemic of 2020, and the company hasn't been there since. PLE in China, bro, you excited?
Well, what time would that be Eastern time that I would have to watch this?
That's the first question we got to ask.
What concern. That's my first concern.
What time is it New York time, bro? I don't know.
Yes, I don't know.
That would be what? I don't know. What, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, let's see. You said Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, current time. Let's find out. Current time, Hong Kong. It is 10:15 in the morning. So 12 hours. They're 12 hours ahead.
Yeah, that's a no.
Yeah.
That's a JD and Solomon are waking up and having their breakfast and whatever else they like to do in the morning first.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Well, that's not happening imminently, but that is in discussions. AEW. Where you want to start, bro? You want to talk Dynamite? Or you want to talk this HBO deal first?
Let's talk about the HBO Max stuff.
All right. HBO Max. We did discuss this last week, and we came very close in what we did discuss because whatever was announced the following day, a lot of people hit me up and said, you guys talked about this last night. You were pretty spot on. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. So All Out is going to be the first show on HBO Max that AEW has their pay-per-views now filtering through the Max streaming service. This has been a topic of discussion since they've signed on with Warner Brothers Discovery for a lucrative 4-year deal with the network. And this is coming from Fightful Select. They broke everything down here. Sources that Fightful spoke to in AEW said that the afternoon pay-per-view success of Forbidden Door helped contribute to the decision to move the show from 8 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, we'll stop there. AEW could tell Sean Ross Sapp, who does a very good job at what he does, anything that they want to filter out whatever else they want out to the community, Jason. But I think you and I and everybody else knows that the reason why they're moving All Out to 3 p.m. is not because of the resounding success of Forbidden Door, man. It's that little show that's happening in Indianapolis called WrestlePalooza.
Well, I mean, the reports, to be fair, the report said that it contributed to the decision. So I could see them saying, okay, look, do we make this move or not? Do we stay at 8 p.m. or do we move the show? and they looked at Forbidden Door and said, you know what? We had this show at 3:00 in the afternoon, and it actually did pretty well. So maybe it made them feel better about a decision that they were going to make either way. So did it contribute to the decision? It may have slightly. Maybe if they were on the fence about whether to move the time. I didn't think that they were going to move the time. I thought that if they were going to move the time, it would have already happened. So I was kind of surprised I was surprised but not surprised when Tony made the decision, because I thought he was just going to say, fuck it, we were there first. So did it contribute? I could see where it made them feel a little bit better about, like, okay, maybe we won't die at 3:00, so it's okay if we bump the show up. But of course, the reason they moved it is not because Forbidden Door did well at 3:00. I think everybody knows that. The reason they moved it is because they were being attacked, basically, at 8 p.m. And actually, WrestlePalooza starts at 7, not 8. I have to keep reminding myself of that. So yeah, I didn't read that report as they're saying.
So All In is going to bleed into WrestlePalooza, still just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Are you kidding me? By the time WrestlePalooza starts, there'll be 3 fucking matches left on the All Out card. This thing is going to bleed over.
Remind me, please.
Oh, it's going to bleed over big time into WrestlePalooza. I'm sure it's not going to be.
Well, this is great for us because you get to do your thing. I get to do my thing. We get to watch this show along with everybody else live as it's happening, and we don't have to go back and watch it after WrestlePalooza or the next day. And we only have to catch up on maybe 2 or 3 matches, which is great.
Yeah, for me personally, it's a great move because and my situation's a little bit different because I do my main show, as you know, on Sunday. So I was like, fuck. How am I going to work around this? So this makes my life a little bit easier because yes, I will be watching All Out live until WrestlePalooza starts, and then I'll switch over, and then whatever I miss from the AEW show, I'll catch up with the next morning. It's still a pain in my ass, but it makes my life anyway and my weekend a little bit easier. So I'm a big fan of the move. However, that is not the case with everybody because there are people who have tickets to go to All Out who in some cases now are royally fucked because they thought they were buying tickets to an 8 p.m. show and them moving the show up by 5 hours. If you're someone who is busy during the day or you got to work during the day, you have other plans. If you're flying in if you're not local and you're flying in from outside Toronto, outside the country, and you're preparing for an 8 p.m. show, those people have a reason to be upset.
Yeah, how many of those people are getting in the day of the show?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People traveling in and they thought the show was going to be 5 hours later. You can get a refund on your tickets, I'm sure. You could probably get a refund on your hotel in many cases. That's not necessarily the case when it comes to your flight.
Yeah.
So I totally understand those people being upset. If you fall into that category, you have every right to be mad. But selfishly, I'm not in that category. So I like the move. Makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I don't think Tony Khan was even thinking about those people, honestly, when he made this decision. He was just being selfish and just doing what he needed to do for the best of the business.
Yeah, but that's why I said before, like I was still surprised when he moved it because
he did get some criticism for moving it. A lot of people were like, oh, he tucked his tail in between his legs and he's a pussy and this and that.
Yeah, but I don't see if you are someone who's upset because it inconveniences you because you already bought tickets to the show, those people have a right to be upset.
Yeah.
All these other people who were talking about, oh, Tony, he pussed out and, he blinked. Yes, he blinked. You know why he blinked? Because it was the right business move. The move that he made here, it might make him look weak because he had it first. Then they, announced their show, and now he is moving his show, which, by the way, opens WWE up to doing the same thing in the future. Now that they know Tony moved the show.
Which it will happen, which is great for us because if we get more 3 p.m. AEW shows, I'm not going to fucking complain at all.
Right, but it's just going to make them fuck with Tony even more. I don't disagree with that. But he made the right I think he made the right business decision. So I don't look at it as, oh, he's scared. Look at him. He's tucking his tail and running. No, in this case, he's actually making what I think is a sound business decision. Good for him.
Do you think that if he did go head-to-head with WrestlePalooza, that it would have greatly affected his pay-per-view buy rate for All Out?
I think it would have affected his pay-per-view buy rate enough that he felt he had to make a move.
Okay.
I don't think it would have crushed All Out. So let's say All Out was going to, let's just say All Out was going to do
100,000 views. 100,000.
No. Let's say it was going to do 150,000. Okay, because I think Forbidden Door, they were saying, was it Forbidden Door or All In?
All In did roughly around 180, I think Meltzer said.
Okay, so All In did between 180 and 185.
Yeah.
All Out, depending on the card, and this is not shaping up to be the best All Out card they've ever put together, but I don't think something like 140, 150 is out of the question. Let's say 150, right? If they go head-to-head with WrestlePalooza, could that be the difference between 150,000 and 100,000? Yeah, I think it could be. Is it going to be the difference between 150,000 and 50,000? No. But I think it could make a dent, and maybe I'm even overstating it because I do think that the majority of his fans would watch All Out. But it would take a chunk out of it. It would cost him some money. No doubt about it. So that's why I say he made a business decision by moving it because, and this is what some people don't, either they forget sometimes, pay-per-view is still in many ways the lifeblood of that company outside of media rights because they make a lot of money in media rights now. It's pay-per-view after that. I know WWE has not been a pay-per-view company for a while. They've got out of the pay-per-view business really when the network started. So people, they look at it because pay-per-view really is it's a dying medium in many ways, but it's not yet dead. Tony Khan makes a lot of money. We just mentioned the buy rate for All In. So you take that 185,000 and that's at what, $49.99 or $49.95 per pay-per-view buy. I don't know if it might be different in other countries like the UK.
You're looking at 9 million. Just about 9 million.
You're looking at $9 million now. They don't take all $9 million because they have, some of that money goes to the pay-per-view providers, but that's a lot of money. When you look at it that way, you could see why they're still in the pay-per-view business because they make a lot of money off these pay-per-views. So I think he looked at it and said, it's going to take a chunk out of us. Nothing we can do about them stealing headlines away, but I have to make the move that I think is going to protect my show. And that move was simply to bump it up by 5 hours and get a head start.
Yeah, that's fair. Pay-per-view is certainly the lifeblood outside the TV rights deal. It's the only source of revenue, honestly, for AEW here in the United States, where they could go overseas and they do fucking unbelievable overseas. They sold out Forbidden Door, 17,000 plus. Wembley, the last two times they were there, they did 50 and 70 plus, respectively. They took Dynamite over there, sold out Dynamite the last couple of years. To Australia, they sold out Grand Slam. Mexico, they sold out that. They do a lot better internationally than they do here domestically here in the United States. So,
in terms of attendance,
in terms of just the attendance for these pay-per-views, yeah. I mean, and the buy rates for these pay-per-views. Tony's not giving that up, which my point was, and what I was trying to get at is a lot of people wanted this to be free. He's not going to give up this pay-per-view revenue to give us free pay-per-views when it's the only source of revenue, honestly, in the United States, because he's not selling these shows out in the United States. That's why they're running residencies. He's not making any money off Livegate in the United States. Zero.
But last week here on TNT, we were talking about the HBO Max stuff. And one thing that we did talk about was the idea of maybe offering this first pay-per-view for free.
Yes.
Now, I can understand why he either wouldn't want to do that or felt like he couldn't do that. It was an idea, whether it was free or just severely discounted more than usual, as sort of, hey, this is our first show on Max. We want as many people as possible to sample the show. If you're not somebody who does order all the pay-per-views, I think for this first show, that would have been a smart thing to do. But again, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that would have cost him, and maybe that's something he just felt like he couldn't do. But so we did talk about that on the show last week, but we weren't talking about that in terms of making all the pay-per-views free.
No.
We were just talking about All Out. But there are people who I think when it came to HBO Max, in some cases, were disappointed hearing that you would have to pay anything for these pay-per-views. And because in their mind, they may have thought WWE Network, Peacock, but they never said it was going to work that way. I mean, from day one last year, we knew it would cost something We just didn't know what that discount would look like on Max.
Yeah, and like I said, it all goes back to what Tony feels about these pay-per-views and the money he's making towards these pay-per-views. He's not giving up that money at all because as far as his source of revenue domestically, he's not really making much anywhere else. He can't sell tickets to his A show. Collision is suffering. I know they just did 25,000 at Globe Life, but that's their biggest IP. That's their biggest show of the year. 30,000. That's their biggest show of the year. So they should be selling that out. So a lot of people thought that this was going to be free. Listen, I thought that them doing this show only for free would have been a nice little miniature fuck you to Triple H. And they could have probably kept it at 8 p.m. and offered it for free. And I think a lot of people would have been interested to see what was going on there. Now that they moved it to 3 p.m. and they could have still given it away for free. I honestly, the way that I look at it, Jason, is if HBO Max is not very happy with, and we don't know, not very happy with the numbers that AEW is pulling in. If they allowed this show to be free on HBO Max here at 3 p.m., the number of people that tune in to watch this show, I mean, that number would probably make HBO and Time Warner happy here. Don't you think?
Well, so here's two things. Number one, when you made the comment about a nice fuck you to Triple H,
yeah,
I understand what you mean when you say that, but when you really think about it, the only person that you're saying fuck you to in that situation is yourself.
Kind of.
Because you're fucking yourself out of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by giving it away for free.
First impressions are everything. That would have been a great first impression.
It's true, but it's also a cell phone. I could see Triple H kind of laughing in his face and going, hey.
You gave up $9 million for me, bro. Look at you.
Yeah, like you want to offer it for free. And, hey, lose out on all that money. Go right ahead. So that's number one. The other point also is, and we can get into this when we talk about the price point and whose decision that was, because I don't think that was a decision that Tony made, certainly not on his own. HBO Max, they're going to get a cut of these shows. So the idea that they would be okay with Tony wanting to offer the show for free, I don't know that that's the case because they want in on this pay-per-view money as well, right? You have to imagine that they're going to, I mean, it's another platform to air the show on, right? Why wouldn't they be getting a cut of this in some way? I don't know that they would want this show offered for free. And I also think it speaks to why maybe this discount, which I do think it was a mistake not making the discount a little bit more of a discount, but it might help explain why instead of $50, they're now being offered for $39.99 if you order them on HBO Max going forward. So it's a discount, quote unquote discount of $10 from what the pay-per-views would normally be, which I thought it would be more than that. I think I've heard you say that the sweet spot in your view would be 20 or 25.
25, yeah.
I think the sweet spot would be 30 because that's still a $20 discount from what they normally would be without giving up too much. So I think 30 would have been the sweet spot. I don't think this was a decision. I can't see this being a decision that Tony made unilaterally. Like,
no.
Tony Khan made the call that these are going to be $40,
no.
Right? If he had the power, I don't know what price point he would have picked.
No, they got him by the balls. He didn't come up with this on his own.
No. I mean, when people ask him about the HBO Max numbers, the answer that he gives is, well, I'm told that we're doing well, but they don't even tell me the numbers. So do you really think Tony would have the power to dictate how much these pay-per-views are going to be?
Bro, you're telling me Mr. Analytic over there doesn't know the fucking number. He knows the numbers. He's not telling us the numbers because the numbers aren't good.
Oh, I don't think the numbers are anywhere close to what's been speculated, but do I think...
$1 million? You don't think they're doing $1 million on Max, bro?
Maybe $1.5 million. I mean, who knows, right? Maybe $2 million. I do think that there probably is proprietary information about that they don't share with him. I don't know. I would love to know what those conversations are like. Because if I'm Tony Khan, right, and I'm running AEW, I would like to know how my show is doing.
Sure.
So is it a case where, like, has he asked them and they literally are like, well, we can't tell you, but it's doing well, but they don't tell him anything? It's possible, but that's just wild to me.
All right,
they wouldn't even share.
Answer me this. If what you're saying is anywhere remotely close to being factual, how the fuck does Dave Meltzer know what the numbers are and is so confident on social media to let everyone know that he knows the numbers and what they are?
Has he said that he knows the
Yes.
numbers? Because all I ever see him saying, like when he talks about the ratings, is that this doesn't include the Max numbers, which we don't know.
Bro, he's got into some fucking back and forth with people bragging about the Max numbers.
Well, I don't know how he would know the Max numbers. That's very weird. I mean, if you could point out to me the tweet where he said this, I would love
Chat,
to. I would love to.
you got somebody in the chat's got to fucking know what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, find me this tweet because I would be very curious to know who his source is that is sharing that information with him when Tony is the literal owner of the company is saying that he doesn't even have knowledge of what these numbers are, but Dave Meltzer does. That's very strange.
Let me ask you this, because this is the way my brain operates. I did a whole video on this myself earlier in the week last week, and I thought of, and this is the way my brain works. This has been an ongoing discussion since January. Like, this is a long time coming. This is not something that happened overnight where they came up, this is going to be it, this is the price point, they're going to get HDR 10 and Dolby Atmos and all this other shit that's coming along with it. Do you feel that HBO Max, Warner Brothers Discovery, do you think that they are disappointed in AEW to a point where AEW can't sell their top tier content, which is their pay-per-view? Tony Khan's Mr. Pay-per-view. It's their bread and butter. It's their best content legitimately out of everything. Do you think that they have fallen out of good standing slightly with Warner Brothers Discovery to a point where Tony can't sell his greatest content to Warner to restructure the contract so that they could get whatever back end that they need for the pay-per-view revenue, so that they could actually go and do something like WWE did with Peacock? Do you find that to be a red flag where Warner couldn't just pony up the dough? Or maybe they don't have any dough to give up. I don't know. Does that say a lot about the AEW content right now?
No. Okay. No, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that they're like TKO. They're in the business of making money. So pricing those pay-per-views at $40 instead of $50, and not having a steeper discount, I don't think that's indicative of any sort of unhappiness with AEW. And if they are unhappy in some way with AEW, then I don't think it has anything. I don't think this is reflective of that.
Okay.
I don't see one having anything to do with the other. I think that they want their cut. And so now they'll be able to offer these pay-per-views at a slight discount, and they'll be able to get their cut. However that's structured, I don't know. But they'll be able to get their piece of the pie now. And everybody's saying that, because again, I thought the discount should be a little less and would be a little less than $40. But when you look at it, and it is a fair point, there are people who are still watching Dynamite and Collision on cable, satellite cable, whatever it may be.
I'm in that camp.
Okay, so you are the person I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you hear about the pay-per-views now being available on HBO Max, and you can pay $10 less than you do, and you don't have HBO Max, okay, because I have in front of me here, I wrote down what the prices are for the 3 tiers, right? Yeah. The cheapest one is $9.99 a month. The standard one is $16.99 a month, and the premium one is $20.99 a month.
And that tier 1 is with ads, correct?
The tier 1 is with ads, yes.
Okay.
That's the basic tier. So let's say you wanted even the standard tier. So you're going to pay that $16.99 a month, and on top of that, you're going to have to pay $40 per pay-per-view. You might look at that and say, well, wait a minute, I'm paying more money now than I was before. But if you are currently watching Dynamite and Collision on cable, and you say, oh, wait a minute, I can watch this now on HBO Max, I don't really have any other need for cable, so I'm going to ditch cable, whatever the fuck I'm paying for that, and I'm just going to watch all my AEW content on Max and have access to the library because they have all the old Dynamites and pay-per-views up there, then it becomes a savings. So if you fall into that category, then it would be a savings for you. Because you'll be able to watch everything on Max. If you really don't have any need to hold on to cable for any other reason, and you can just watch everything on there, then for those people, they are going to save money over the course of the year. So that is true. But that's not necessarily true of everybody. So whether or not you look at this discount as a great thing or not, I think depends on your personal situation. I watch Dynamite every week on Max because I already have a Max subscription. I don't have a Max subscription just because of AEW. But I do watch Dynamite on there as opposed to YouTube TV. So, but that may not be the case for you. It may not be the case for somebody else. So it's not like a black and white thing where, oh man, this discount sucks. You're not really saving any money. Some people are saving money. It all depends on what your watching habits are.
See, I fall into a specific camp of I use a family member's HBO Max because I know that they don't use it. So I actually used it to watch The Last of Us, and that's the only reason why I asked for it. But now that I have their login and password, for the time being, I'm going to ditch buying it through Verizon, and I'm going to watch it on HBO Max because it's not only in better quality, you're getting the HDR10 and Dolby Atmos that comes along with it. They deliver stunning picture quality here for the pay-per-views now. Immersive arena-like sound that puts the fans at the center of the action. And I'm going to go and do that. So I fall into a very rare category where I have a cable package and I watch AEW weekly via TBS and TNT via Verizon, but I also have someone in the family's HBO Max. So I'm going to use that now instead of doing the 50 via Verizon. I'm going to do the 40 via HBO Max.
So that was my question to you. So are you going to get rid of your Verizon now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, why?
Because I
what else are you watching
I get the ESPN DTC because I have whatever the most expensive package is for Verizon. So all the ESPN stuff with WWE coming up on the 20th, I'm getting all that for free. So I'm not going to get rid of it.
But let me ask you this. So I have YouTube TV. And apparently which is weird because I have ESPN, but I guess so far I don't have access. I don't believe I have access to the ESPN DTC app, but at some point I'm supposed to. Let's assume we do, right? Let's say YouTube TV gets it. If that were to happen, could you then be convinced to ditch Verizon for something cheaper? Because like YouTube TV right now, the base package, I think it keeps going up, but it's still like $82. Which I'm sure is less than what you must be paying for Verizon. I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm
significantly
saying is,
less.
Right. Exactly. So that's why I asked you, like, are you going to make the move away from Verizon? Because, you know, Verizon and some of these other cable services, like they charge so much. Unless you really are making use of like all the channels that are available to you, you've got to be crazy to be paying for some of these services when even they could keep increasing YouTube TV and it's annoying because I feel like we've lost channels and yet it keeps going up, but I'm still way ahead of what I was paying previously on cable.
Yeah, I don't know what Verizon's running now as far as like if you were to sign up for Verizon, but I feel like if I drop Verizon cable and stuck with Verizon Fios, which is the internet package that I have here, and then I go to YouTube TV, I don't know how much of a difference it would be for me to bundle Verizon Internet and YouTube TV and what the difference is if I just stay or not stay with Verizon Cable. I don't know. It could be a difference of $15, $20. I don't know. To me, it might not even be worth it to switch.
It might not be, but I would definitely look into that because I have Fios for internet.
Yeah.
I don't have Fios or Verizon for TV, but I do have Fios for internet, and I'm very happy with it. But I'm definitely paying less than I was when I was still paying for cable. So you may be able in like the months ahead to get rid of it, and you know, because for WWE, as long as you'll have access to the ESPN stuff, the only thing you then have to worry about is SmackDown, which is on USA. And like on a YouTube TV, you'll have USA Network.
Yeah.
Raw's on Netflix, so that's separate from all this. You've already got Netflix, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, it is kind of crazy. Like, it gives you a headache when you think of all these fucking services that are out there now. You have to like, it's like we're trying to like piece together all the different things that we need just to watch all these wrestling shows.
Yeah, but for the individual that you said, though, that may not have cable and may watch all of AEW's content via Max with Dynamite and Collision and now the pay-per-views, how many of those people have all the same extra services that we have, like a Spotify, Apple TV, Disney Plus, ESPN, and fucking so on? It's Paramount Plus. How many other services do they have that almost equal to the amount of money that I'm paying now for Verizon or what you're paying for YouTube TV? So at the end of all of it, if you bundle up everything that they have that they're subscribed to, some people might be saving money. Some people might not be saving money. So, I mean, it all depends on what you feel like you need to have and what you don't need to have. Correct?
Right. Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
So there's no blanket statement like this HBO Max discount is terrible or this HBO Max discount is great. It's just enough. It just depends on the individual. And it does depend on also how many streaming services you are signed up for. It may not be worth it to you. You know, to me, it might be worth it. To you, it might not be worth it. It might just be worth it to keep watching these AEW pay-per-views if you want to watch them on whatever platform that you're watching them on. Pay the $50 and not pay for HBO Max. But for me, I think I just enjoy watching it on Max. It's just a lot easier for me to like start. If I don't start from the very beginning, it does look better.
Yeah.
Visually, I will say it does actually look better than it does on.
Is it funny that now the WWE PLEs are cheaper than the AEW pay-per-views on Max?
Well, they were a lot cheaper before when we didn't have to pay anything extra for the WWE,
and they still are now that they're on ESPN too.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. That's happening for All Out. Again, I mean the whole rollout. You know, we could sit here and we've made some very fair and valid points here, which it all depends on the person's lifestyle and what they want, what they don't want. Do you agree that the rollout is not good? Did they botch the rollout? Is it completely fan friendly? No. How do you feel about the overall just rollout of the entire deal?
It was confusing.
Okay.
It was confusing, and also it took a lot longer than people expected. We first heard about pay-per-views moving to Max, I think in October maybe of last year.
Yeah.
I don't think it was going to take almost a year. I don't know why it took so long.
We thought that it would actually start with All In. I thought that was the going rumor, but they waited for whatever reason.
Yeah, and again, that's more on Warner. If it were up to Tony Khan, I'm sure he would have started at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
You know, he would have started from day one. So whatever tech issues they were dealing with, I mean, I hope they got them all worked out. We'll find out, I guess, for this first all-out pay-per-view if people have issues making their purchase. But it's about damn time. I mean, they've been talking about it long enough, and we'll see what happens with the rollout from here on out. Hopefully they don't have any glitches and everything works the way that it's supposed to work. But again, important for people to understand, it's not exclusive to Max.
No.
It will still be available on YouTube and Amazon Prime and whatever platform you may have been watching it before. The choice is yours. You don't have to watch it on Max. If you do, you might get a little bit of a discount, but again, in your situation, it may not even be worth it.
Triller TV with a VPN. You guys get it for $20, I heard, huh?
Well, you know, after this whole discussion that we just had, I think at the end of the day, if you got your VPN, you probably could avoid a lot of this stuff. So
one important note here about this new venture here for AEW. Once a purchase is complete via the Max app, subscribers can find the event under the My Purchases via the My Stuff page. After the event, replays will be exclusively available for 6 months. So I know I don't have that via Verizon. I think it's just a week and that's it. I got it. You guys got it for 6 months, and then it'll probably end up on the app anyway because you got the whole catalog and the back catalog of AEW pay-per-views on there.
Yeah, I think they said after 6 months, I think it's available for everyone.
Okay, there you go. So that's the deal. AEW also has All Out on that Saturday, September 20th. But to go along with it, there's going to be an AEW Saturday Tailgate Brawl All Out at 2 p.m. I don't know what that is. It's a 1-hour live show. It might be an extension of the Forever pre-show that they usually air.
Well, apparently it's going to be one of the hours of 0 Hour, which for the first time will air live on TV.
Okay, there you go. And then we have, this is a big one, September 17th from London, Ontario. We got September to Remember, starting at 8 p.m. Listen to this, folks. It's 2 hours of Dynamite, and we're getting nonstop high-flying action of Collision for 1 hour from 10 to 11. 3-hour block of Dynamite and Collision, bro, on Wednesday, September 17th.
You might see a hologram against his new arch rival.
El Clone.
El Clone, yes. El Clone. Apparently, El Clone is being portrayed by Ares, who has wrestled for House of Glory before.
Ares is very, very good. So
yes,
we may see him there. So that's the deal with AEW. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section or chime in the chat. Some AEW news and notes here. We will start with Dynamite, and then we'll get into some rumors and speculation. I got news on Kenny Omega, Wardlow, and Dynamite started off on Wednesday with nonsense, Darby Allin, and him dragging. Who did he drag in the fucking body? Gabe Kidd in the body bag. This was so ridiculous that they ended up having a match, but it wasn't really an official match. Darby comes out to brawl with the Death Riders, and him and Gabe Kidd go out to the parking lot, where Gabe Kidd eventually takes possession of a hammer, and he wants to mallet Darby in the face with it. He misses. Darby ends up going to the back of a pickup truck and takes dust or whatever, some powdery substance, and throws it in Gabe Kidd's eyes. Then he takes a page out of Giant Gonzalez and Harvey Wimpleman's book and chloroforms Gabe Kidd before putting him in a body bag and driving the truck and the body bag away from the arena. Now, all this happened, Jason, and we got the return of Hook again, and he came out to help aid in the battle against the Death Riders. The Ops were there as well, and we got Marina Shafir and Willow Nightingale. Bro, we're getting this all over again, and all of this happened going into All In. The only difference is Darby's back, and he's got a match with Jon Moxley at the pay-per-view. What'd you make of this nonsense?
I mean, they wanted chaos at the beginning of the show, so we got chaos. I can't say it didn't do much for me, but they wanted a chaotic start to the show. And there were lots of other moments of chaos on the show as well, including at the end. But the main story here is Moxley and Darby, who are now having a coffin match at All Out.
I did not know that.
Yes, it is going to be a coffin match.
Do you think this hopefully this storyline gets dead and buried with the coffin?
It would be nice if this was sort of the payoff to this whole thing at All Out. I mean, they may want to drag it out to Wrestle Dream. I don't know, but I mean, a coffin match sounds pretty definitive to me. The last time we saw a coffin match in AEW, was it Christian and Jack Perry?
It might have been, yeah.
Because they had that final, they had a name, and there was like the dirt, and I know there was a coffin, and so it might have been a coffin match, and I can't remember another one since then.
Yeah, it was definitely named something else. I don't remember what it was.
Final burial or something?
Yeah, something like that. But Christian was in the coffin, and he actually got lowered into the ground.
Yes. So I don't know if this is going to work the same way.
It should.
Or a more traditional, like WWE type casket match where they just wheel the casket down to the ring and you got to put the guy in it. I don't know. But yes, it is official. It will be a coffin match.
Get ready for interferences galore, bro.
It's the Death Riders. So, I mean, what do you expect? I'd be shocked if they didn't have interference.
Mercedes beat Alex Windsor clean. I don't know what happened here, but Alex Windsor was flavor of the month longer than I anticipated. So she lost clean, which I said with Jesse on Wednesday. I don't know how we get here if you want Alex Windsor to be a top babyface in the division. Why she's losing to Mercedes clean and then looking for a handshake, only Mercedes give her a middle finger at the end of the match. And then all of a sudden, Jason, Riho comes back. And Riho emerges from the 900 people at the ECW arena behind the timekeeper's desk, comes out and attacks Mercedes.
I feel responsible for this because I could have sworn on TNT last week, I think I invoked the name of Riho. I think it was some super
Yes,
chat.
and I said something along the lines of, I do not want to see Riho on my television.
I mentioned Riho, and then 24 hours later, like Joe Hendry, say her name, and she appears. 14 months later, there's Riho on my TV screen.
Tony Khan did it on purpose, bro, because he heard me say it last week.
He put a rush on her travel and put her on a plane.
Yes, he did. This to me, I'm befuddled at this, Jason, because Riho hasn't wrestled since last July, and she wrestled Lady Frost on Dynamite, and she just comes back and just wills into existence a TBS championship match. Are we really at the bottom of the barrel of this TBS title run that we have to drum up Riho to come back to television because she has nobody else to beat?
Yeah, because look, Riho she's the next victim. All right, we know Mercedes is not dropping that TBS championship at All Out.
No,
so they need a warm body for her to go in there and work with. And to be fair, Riho, when she came out, she actually got a hell of a pop from that crowd. They were very happy to see her. So the AEW audience loves Riho. So I'm sure that they'll be elated to see her in Toronto, and that's great. But she's going in there to play victim number what, 35, 40? I've lost track at this point. To Mercedes in this run that she is on. And look, I mean, On October 10th, I believe October 10th is the day.
508 days of Jade Cargill's reign.
So 509 will be the new record, if I'm not mistaken. She's around 470 right now, or maybe it all out. She'll be 470. It'll be somewhere in that 470 range. So she's got a little ways to go. That's all this is. It's just Riho is ready to come back, and so what we'll do is we'll put her in a match with Mercedes.
Because is she ready to come back? You know that for sure.
14 months gone. I mean,
you don't think she's going to disappear for another 14 months after this match is over?
Well, I mean, if there's some sort of visa issue or something, I'm talking more about her like physical state. I mean, she broke her wrist. I would think, she's pretty much ready to go at this point. It's been over a year. But she's going to go in there as a baby face that people love, that Tony can plug in there, and she'll lose just like everybody else loses. And then it'll be on to the next. So is there look, there's no justification. If you want to look at it as what did she do to earn this championship match? She did nothing. She did absolutely nothing. She's a popular babyface to that audience, and this is how they've chosen to reintroduce her. Does it make sense? No, but it doesn't matter because she's just another victim for Mercedes to beat.
I had something here on my PC. I don't know. Did I delete it? Fuck. I might have deleted it. Do you remember back in the day when Jinder Mahal showed up on Monday Night Raw and Tony Khan went into a ballistic rage on social media because people were claiming that Hook didn't deserve a championship match, and he complained about Jinder Mahal getting a championship match, and then he backed it up with Hook being 25-1 or something like that, and he's earned himself a championship match.
But they were probably still doing the rankings at that point.
Yeah.
He found religion when he brought back the rankings and it flopped again. I mean, he got religion real quick on why the rankings just don't work.
Now they don't mean a fucking thing, bro. Riho comes back, and then boom, title match, and nobody gives a fuck, and nobody will blink an eye.
At least he learned his lesson. You know what? These rankings, we tried them twice, and it's just a total fail. So yeah, I'm basically just going to do whatever I want to do. That seems to be the prevailing attitude now. $50, $40, or fucking $5 at this point. This pay-per-view isn't really speaking to me at all on September 20th. But Hook, he was back now 2 weeks in a row. He had a little backstage. You know, we mentioned backstage vignettes last week as well. I'm glad to see this got a backstage vignette because I complained about this last week with Hook coming back and going after Wheeler Yuta. And he had no backstage altercation with Samoa Joe. But this week, we got it. So Joe says basically that Hook has every right to be upset. They're going to handle their own business. But he made the call, and Hook needs to realize that at some point he'll get their help when he needs it. And they're not going to be anywhere else. So it sounds like Hook is still in the ops, but I don't really know for sure. You know? Just to go back to... To go back to Mercedes real quick, can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
Did we ever get a resolution to who attacked Camille and who laid her out in the back?
Camille? You're the bodyguard. No, yeah.
Okay. So her attacker is still out there.
Her attacker is still running wild, bro.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as
Camille was on American Gladiators, though, I'll tell you that.
Maybe she's searching for the person on there who attacked her. Maybe it was one of the other gladiators. Wouldn't that be a story?
That would be much better of a story than anything AEW's told in the last 6 weeks. So, yes.
As far as Hook and the ops, yeah. I mean, at least we're getting some actual story progression here instead of just ignoring it. Like he's back and they're just kind of doing their own thing. So that I liked because that's actual like story progression there with the ops. And I think Joe made the comment to him like, okay, you may not need our help now, but you will at some point, and whether you want it or not, like we'll be there for you. So it's you would think leading to something, but I'm just glad they addressed it.
Yeah, that's something positive at least that we got a little interaction between the two. Little tidbit here for you guys on Hook. I was told with good knowledge of the situation here that Hook's theme music, if you guys have a problem with it and you missed the old Action Bronson theme, Hook's theme song was not written by Mikey Ruckus. It was specifically chosen by Hook himself, and all of his presentation that you see with the bat signal saying Hook and the way he comes out and the vibe and the presence and the presentation, it's all Hook. It is all his basically what his mind is coming up with. It's all him. So,
Well, I told you last week that the belief is that the music was his choice.
yeah. Is it a pro wrestling theme? Probably not. Takes a little bit long
not
to
for,
kick in.
It might be for certain characters. I don't think it fits Hook. So it's just like when he comes out, it's kind of a vibe killer.
It does, yeah. Takes too long to get into the meat of it, you know? It's got to have
the crowd. It's like the crowd at the ECW arena. They don't know quite how to react to it when he comes out. Once it starts to kick in, it's like I don't know. It's not one of those songs that makes you rise to your feet.
No.
Sing along.
No, I mean, if you don't grab people's attention with something like that in the first 2 or 3 seconds, it's over. So I
You know what it's missing? You know what it's missing?
It's missing Def Rebel.
It's missing that opening Def Rebel chord. That opening Def Rebel quote at the beginning. It should just like be a voice that says like Hook.
Survive if I let you.
Well, I mean that's blatantly copied from someone else.
I don't know.
Mikey
Ruckus does some great jobs though, but that's all specifically chosen by Hook there. Mark Briscoe. He is answering.
Well. Before we get into Mark Briscoe, we talked about the TBS championship. We should talk about the match that's been made for the Women's World Championship.
Why don't you go ahead and speak on that? I know Tony's in it. Obviously, she's the women's champion, but who else is in it?
Well, it's a 4-way match. It is Timeless Toni Storm. She is defending her Women's World title in a 4-way against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and oh god, who's the fourth person?
Tekla.
Which is a hell of a lineup for a 4-way match, I will say.
Sure. Can you explain to me why it's happening, though?
Because Tony, she had like a meltdown on Collision, and she basically like freaked out and said, you know, I want to wrestle all 4 of you. And they were all like, okay. Because there was a match, there was like a tag match or something on Collision, and then it all broke down, and the Triangle of Madness was holding back Tekla in the aisle, and Tony standing in the ring, and there's Statlander, and there's Jamie Hayter, because Hayter's been feuding with Tekla, and then they just made the match, and it was Tony who made the match. So I'm like, okay, because Tony had no story, right? She had nothing. That's why we couldn't figure out like who's next for her. We were asking this question last week, and so they just had Tony say, you know what, I'll defend my championship against all of you, and I said, okay, well, at least we know it'll be a really good match. And not only that, if they wanted to change the championship here, I think the person who takes it, if Tony doesn't retain, the person who takes that title, I think, is Chris Statlander. Because they've been doing this story with her and the Death Riders where they've been basically courting her. And I as much as I don't want to see her join the Death Riders, I think that might play into this in some way. So we could very well have a title change on that show, but not the way that I wanted to get to Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. You know, I mean, it's cool that we're going to get it, but I was kind of hoping that they would have their own story. Maybe we can get that at some point one-on-one, but okay, we're going to get a 4-way.
I don't know. I don't see Statlander winning the championship. I think that she will be.
You don't think there's any chance?
No, I think she finds a partner and possibly is the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions.
Well, that partner would be Willow.
Yeah, whoever that is.
I don't know. I thought it would be nice to shake things up a little bit since we know we're not getting a TBS title change.
Well, let me ask you. You mentioned 509 days. I don't know when that falls on the calendar and how close that is to a Wednesday. But if it is close enough, and she does break the record, whether it's that same week or the following week, does Mercedes drop the title as soon as she breaks the record of Jade Cargill for the TBS title?
That would be kind of lame.
It would be very lame. Yeah. Well, the reason why I ask is because I just don't see Tony losing the championship to anybody but Mercedes. I think if Mercedes drops that TBS championship, they'll just do what we had requested them to do, and then she goes after the world championship and wins that one.
Okay, so basically she's going to hold the TBS championship for 500 some odd days, finally lose it, and then Tony just rushes another title onto her?
Sure.
Well, that would be dumb.
Are you surprised by what we've seen so far? That's the problem.
No, so it'll probably happen. But I just think that would be very dumb.
It would be.
I would not be in a rush to rush the world title onto her. Like, it's okay if she only has 8 belts for a while instead of 9. You know, you don't have to just replace one with the other.
Well,
right
she needs
away.
to break Ultimo Dragon's record, bro. You got to remember. She mentioned him on Wednesday last week.
Well, she said that's a goal. It's nice to have goals, but that doesn't mean that she actually has to win 10 titles all at once.
I don't know. Nobody knows what these titles are, but we're supposed to care. Mark Briscoe, he wants the TNT title, and he wants Kyle Fletcher at the pay-per-view. But before he gets there, Don Callis says he has to beat one of his goons before he gets that championship match. And Lance Archer answers the call. Couldn't pick anybody else but Lance Archer, huh?
Well, if you could have picked Rocky Romero, would you have been happier with that?
One and the same, bro. One and the same. So Briscoe wins, and nothing's really made of it. But the big story here with the Don Callis family is not even Takeshita yet, but Wardlow. And there was news on Wardlow this week, and this is sad news because we're big fans of Wardlow, and Fightful Select has learned that Wardlow sustained an injury almost immediately after returning from a year-plus absence. Sources in AEW that we spoke to said the injury is feared to be a torn pec, which would sideline him for quite some time. There is a possibility he could remain on TV in an enforcer role. It was suggested the injury actually took place upon his return angle, but that isn't confirmed. It was later then confirmed that it actually happened on the clothesline to Prince Nana at Forbidden Door. Wardlow has missed a year with injuries, but was cleared a number of months ago. He was held off TV as he filmed the first 2 seasons of the American Gladiators remake, and that's now been completed. A number of talent we spoke to, says Fightful, were bummed out about the news after Wardlow had waited so long to get back on TV and battled injuries. Man, you know, he's, I don't know how old he is, 37, 38 years old. He's not young, but he's not like Carmelo Hayes young. But man, it's such a fucking bad shake for him. He has had the injury bug and just bad. He broke a mirror fucking somewhere along the way, bro. 7 years bad luck. I don't know what it is with him. I don't want to say the Wardlow experiment is over, but it's basically over at this point. You know what pisses me off the most, though, is I know that they were never going to follow up on it because Swerve is out. Nana's not going to be on TV without Swerve, so they would have never followed up on it. And when they actually went back to it, it wouldn't have even made any sense because we didn't even get an explanation as to why he attacked him in the first place. If he wasn't put in that fucking situation, he wouldn't be injured. So why did they bring him back there? That's the part I don't get. That's the part that angers me the most, I think. Why did they bring him back there and he got injured there and it made no sense whatsoever?
Well, they figured probably it's the Death Rider situation with Ospreay, where they felt the need to get heat by having the heels, you know, kill him at the end of the show. And so Swerve is another big name that's going to go away for a while. And in their mind, they were probably like, well, we'll get heat by having, you know, Wardlow play a role in beating him up or beating his manager up. And that's the only thing I could think of. And then he has a return program when Swerve is ready to come back. And then Wardlow would get to work with Swerve, who's a big name. Like, it's not a terrible idea in theory. I could think of worse things that they could have done with Wardlow. But, I mean, just the idea that... And that clothesline to Nana, I think that was the first move that he did.
Yeah. He ended up doing a power bomb after that, too.
Well, he did an F5. He did an F5. He did a power bomb. And, I mean, he certainly wasn't, like, holding his pack or his arm or anything. There was no indication that he was hurt. So my guess is the adrenaline was going, and he just didn't realize it until he got to the back. And the weird thing is, like, he was still on Dynamite that week. He didn't do anything. He was in the background. He was adjusting his coat and his cufflinks. But, like, you know, why was he even on the show if that's the case? I mean, that's what got me. You did this angle at the pay-per-view. Nobody knew he was hurt, right? None of us knew that he was hurt. He showed up briefly, but he showed up. He was there on Dynamite on Wednesday. They did nothing with him there. Then he just wasn't on the show at all this week. So you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is how they follow up with this guy? Like, what else are people supposed to think watching this? Had he not been on that Dynamite coming out of the pay-per-view, I mean, people would have probably said the same thing, but at least that would have made more sense. Like, he got hurt at the pay-per-view. I'm just wondering why they even bothered having him on the follow-up show if they knew he was injured.
Maybe he didn't tell anybody he was injured. I don't know.
Well, we have examples of other talents in AEW not telling people when
know.
they're that severely injured. So that's actually a possibility. The best thing I could say for Wardlow, obviously, it's just, I mean, I almost don't even believe it.
Me neither.
Like, he's gone for a year and a half, and he's finally back. And the first move that he hits is a clothesline and possibly tears his pec. Which, by the way, if it is a torn pec and it's severe enough, like, he could be gone 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a quick injury. Not everybody is John Cena, where they tell you he tore his pec and he's back 3 months later. So it's like, if this guy didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. And again, when I read that, I was like, is this like kayfabe news? Is this?
I didn't believe. I had a question. I'm like, this guy was on TV. He didn't look injured on Wednesday. The fuck is he doing injured?
Well, not even that. Just the idea of like, he's already hurt. He hasn't even wrestled the match yet.
Bro,
where would he have gotten hurt?
This guy has now signed the forever AEW contract, bro. He's gonna have time tacked on top of time tacked on. He's gonna be fucking owning Guantanamo Bay at this point. Holy shit!
Yeah, he's not ever leaving to go anywhere at this point.
Unless Tony releases him just willingly. Not happening.
He just has pity on him. He's like, I'm just gonna let you go do your thing.
Yep, forget about it.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. I hope he heals up, and I would love to think that he'll just come back and pick up where he left off, and maybe he'll get a second lease on life. It just feels to me he's like cursed at this point. And I don't know that he's ever going to attain that level of stardom that I think a lot of us thought he could attain. But at least if he comes back and has a career, maybe that's as good as it gets. I don't know, but I wish him the best. I mean, I'm sure obviously it's got to fuck with his head mentally, right? To train and prepare. You're on the sidelines. You're just waiting for the call. You finally get it. And then you throw a clothesline. And again, that thing can happen doing anything, but just on that first move, his first night back, it's like the terrible triad of him and Adam Cole and Jay White, all three of them.
I know.
You look at the injuries and the bad luck that they've all had, and it's like, man, you feel bad for all three of them.
We're right back to that point. It wasn't too long ago. It might have been last year where AEW just had these injuries where you could compile their injured list and make a whole fucking separate roster of all-stars just based off the injured list. It's where we are at right now with the current state of AEW.
Well, and also there's something to be said for doing crazy moves in the ring and getting hurt, but on the flip side of that, when you're not working at all, that's not good either.
I was gonna ask you. Obviously, filming American Gladiators for 2 seasons is completely different than working in front of a live audience in the ring, professional wrestling. Is it the fact that he was away for so long? Did that attribute to his injury being that he was cold, being in that environment?
Oh, there's no way to know. I mean, we can speculate. I have no idea. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's impossible for us to say. I'm just looking at it and saying it can't be a good thing either when you have that kind of layoff, and it's not like he was working indies. No. So he has not had a match since he lost to Samoa Joe at Big Business. That was in March of 2024. So he had not wrestled. He had not been physical on TV in that long. So your body is just like, when you're not working and you're not bumping and your body's not used to it. I can't see that as being a good thing either.
I think in that Joe match, he actually tore something, whether it was a ligament in his knee or like a quad or something, and then he had the car accident not too long after that, and then
which supposedly aggravated that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wish Wardlow nothing but the best, man. That's just awful. And the sad thing is, I know he's probably thinking about it, like, what the fuck do I got to do? Mentally, it's probably the most difficult thing, but we wish him the best, and hopefully he's back soon. Speaking of Briscoe. He did challenge for the TNT Championship. He did say he wants the TNT title, but the TNT champion, Kyle Fletcher, is going after the AEW World Championship, and that is held by Adam Page. Now, that doesn't excite me. And if they were going Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, then that probably would have opened up Adam Page to maybe wrestle MJF. But I do think that's now off the table for now. I don't know what MJF is going to be doing at the pay-per-view outside Mark Briscoe. I think that's where they're going. MJF did recently get married this week, so congratulations to him and Alicia Atut. They had a wedding, and he actually, instead of going on his honeymoon first, Jason, he showed up on Collision to cost Briscoe the match against Takeshita.
Well, yes. So he showed up on Collision to cost him the match, and they're going to have a match at All Out.
Yeah.
So the only question is what the stipulation is going to be. I believe Briscoe is going to be choosing the stipulation, so maybe we'll find out tomorrow what kind of a match it's going to be. It seems obvious to me the last few weeks that this is what they were building to, which was at least one last match between MJF and Briscoe to kind of blow off their feud. And so we just wait to find out what the stip is going to be. But it pretty much, like when I watched Dynamite last week, my sense of it was this whole thing with Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, it's like a red herring. Like we're not actually getting a match between them, and he's not going to beat Takeshita, which he shouldn't be beating Takeshita. But MJF would show up and cost him the match, ruin his chances of getting a TNT championship match, and then you set up the match between them for All Out. So that's going to be a very busy weekend for MJF because the night before, he's defending his CMLL title at Arena Mexico against Mystico. So he's going to be going right from there to Toronto for All Out, which now is earlier in the day. It's a 3 p.m. show. So that's going to be a very busy week. And I suspect he's dropping the CMLL title on Friday and then beating Briscoe on Saturday.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you said it's a red herring between Briscoe and Fletcher. I mean, they did mention it, and he wants a championship. And if Briscoe beats MJF, do you think he takes the title off of Kyle Fletcher after All Out, or no?
I hope not. I mean, I would not be taking the title off Kyle Fletcher right now.
Well, why are they putting Kyle Fletcher in a title match that he's inevitably going to lose to Adam Page?
Well, that's my point. Like, do you really want him going in there to lose to Hangman and then he loses to Mark Briscoe?
I wouldn't even be making the Adam Page match happen, period. Like, it's so stupid.
Well, you know, I floated the idea of them doing the tag team match.
That was a great idea.
Yeah, which would have been Hangman and Omega back together as a team, taking on Okada and Takeshita, which I think would have been an incredible match. And then you could just feed into the tension between Okada and Takeshita. But now we know Kenny is, I don't know if he's in Japan now, but he's on his way back to Japan. Apparently he's going to see some doctors there.
Yep.
There's a big gaming convention. I don't think it starts until the 25th. I think it's like a 3-day gaming convention of some kind. So it may have been impossible. You know, he may not be available for All Out. If he was, I would have just done the tag team match and not even bothered having him defend the championship.
Yeah, Omega, he addressed the time off reports. He clarified his AEW absence. Fightful put out something behind the paywall and said, in regards to Kenny Omega, he will be missing All Out. The work had been planned for a year, says Omega, referencing the reports. He will be at the Tokyo Game Show. According to Fightful, it's currently unknown when he will make his return back to AEW. They did write him off of television on Wednesday with Kyle Fletcher putting him through a table and him being stretchered out on a gurney. But Omega, he clapped back at the dirt sheets saying that he's getting time off, and Omega went on to say that he's still doing work for the company, and he went on to say time off, specialized hospital visits and work that has been planned for a year, but sure, let's bait the trolls. I'm just trying to improve what I can and represent the company in a positive way while not performing. Don't be misleading with the headlines, please and thank you. Okay. Thank you for telling us, Mr. Omega. I mean, they wrote him off television after him wrestling in a lights-out steel cage match the fucking month before. Now they're writing him off television.
Yeah, I mean, he's arguing semantics here. I think he was upset with the idea that he's taking time off, like he's sitting on the couch and not doing anything. He's getting time off. We're not seeing him on TV. Like, he's been taken off of television. But I think the headline...
To play video games.
Yeah.
So it's taking time off then, yes. Yes.
I guess so, yeah. So it's too bad that they couldn't make that tag match happen because I think that would have been cool. The other thing I'm wondering is, and you may not have seen this, there was a segment on Collision with Big Bill. So I don't know if you heard about this.
I did see the clip on social media, and I rolled my eyes in disgust because that is just pathetic if that is exactly what they're doing.
I mean, of all the ways to bring him back. So if you didn't see it, Big Bill, there was a segment they aired on Collision. Big Bill's in the back with Brian Keith. And they were in Philadelphia, as they will be again tomorrow. Tomorrow is their, or maybe Collision. But this is their last week at the 2300 Arena. So if you're not a fan of the 2300 Arena for AEW television, you got it for another week. So they're backstage, and Bill is talking about how Philadelphia is where he kind of hit rock bottom in his life, and the fans treated him like shit. He's a guy from New York City, which is better than Philly. And he goes, speaking of New York City, there's another guy on the roster that I haven't seen in a while from New York City. And that was basically his way of sending a challenge out to Eddie Kingston, who has not been talked about, who has not been seen on television in, God, how long has it been?
November.
No, he got hurt. When did he get hurt? It was April of last year. Wait, was it April?
I thought it was November, no?
No. He's been out for over a year, dude.
Oh my God.
He broke his leg in April of last year. I don't think he actually had the surgery to fix his leg until July of last year because there was swelling and stuff. Yeah. And because, he broke his leg. He tore his ACL. Like, everything just exploded, basically. So he's been gone now for a year and a half. It's been quite some time. And out of nowhere, Big Bill is, like, the premise of this promo is, I'm from New York City. And, oh, by the way, speaking of New York City, where's Eddie Kingston been? I'm going to throw a challenge out to Eddie Kingston. This is how they're bringing back Eddie Kingston. Of all the ways that you could have brought the guy back, we just talked about the stuff with Darby and Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd may be back in Japan now. I think that's why they did that angle with him. But, yeah, very weak way of reintroducing Eddie Kingston back to TV. Obviously, Big Bill.
What the fuck does he have to do with Big Bill, though?
Nothing. Well, they're from New York City.
Gee. Well, such creativity at AEW, man. I don't know what the fuck to say.
I didn't say it was creative. I just said it's the story they came up with here. And Big Bill is somebody for him to beat.
Are they going to really waste this guy's return on Collision, bro? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no. I'm wondering, are they going to save this for All Out? Like, do they not even reintroduce Eddie to TV yet and save his return for Toronto?
Bro, what are we doing over there, bro? Holy shit. That sounds terrible. What a waste of a pop.
It's not the way. Well, if they don't trot him out on TV before then, which I think is going to be hard for them not to do, but they could show us like training videos and rehab videos and not actually have Eddie on TV. I do think him walking out in Toronto for the first time in a year and a half would get a big pop. It's not New York City, but I think if they can hold him off until the 20th and then trot him, like maybe they open the show. And they trot him out there. They play his music, and out he comes. What's he gonna look like? Right? We haven't seen him in a long time. He'll get a good reaction. It's just the way they've set this up here is just very lackluster.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a little bit more meticulous than people, other people. If Eddie Kingston is out because of people that are directly linked to the Death Riders, he should come back and be directly linked to the Death Riders. And not stop at Big Bill and then go to the Death Riders. That's just the way my brain works. I don't know.
Well, maybe he will be, but in the meantime, Big Bill called him out, so he's got no choice now but to.
Yes, because we care about Big Bill being on television. I love Big Bill. I just don't trust AEW to do anything more than what we've seen of him.
Well, Big Bill never got his match with Jericho. Jericho just sort of left. We never did get a resolution to that whole thing, where they were starting to tease some dissension there in the learning tree, and then nothing happened.
Careful what you wish for.
I know.
Anyway, Omega was written off television, and that was really all that happened on Dynamite. All Out is shaping up like this. Tony Storm, Tekla, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander for the AEW World Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Riho for the TBS title. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a stipulation to be chosen by Briscoe, which will probably happen on Wednesday. Bobby Lashley, Shelton, and MVP versus Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Liona. Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher. And Konosuke Takeshita, potentially, this is not confirmed yet. Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada for the Unified Championship. I don't know if they're going to do that at All Out. Tony may do so. I don't know, but I would save that for Wrestle Dream.
Number one in the chat says, when Eddie was last on TV, AEW was still in arenas. That's how long Eddie Kingston has been out for.
Yes, they were, man. Yes, they were. We'll end with this because this was definitely in the news. This particular Dynamite that we just went over and all the key points of last week's show did the lowest rating in the history of the show in 6 years. 472,000 viewers, which is 19% down from last week's viewership of 585,000. I'm assuming they'll be up to Wednesday, tomorrow, and the sickos will be celebrating as if they hit 1 million. But even more worrying is that the number is 26% less than the 4-week average of 626,000. The last time Dynamite fell below 500,000 was October 8th, 2004, which that show delivered 329,000, which I do believe it went head-to-head with NXT.
Wait. What did you say? 2004.
2024, I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. I was like, holy shit. I mean, how many years of AEW did I miss?
2024. 329,000, which I believe was one of those Title Tuesday shows that went up against NXT.
Yes.
The 18 to 49 demo fell to 0.11 compared to the 0.13 rating the show did last week. As per WrestleNomics, this week's Dynamite ranked number 7 in the key demos, ranking number 4 for last week's show, being beaten out by a rerun of Family Guy, I believe, was on there. Real World Challenge, and whatever else was on there. Some college football games.
Mr. MK Pandy says 21 glorious years that we missed out on.
They wish, man. They wish upon a fucking magic star that they make it to 21 years. Listen, man, you know, I'll tell you what, right off the bat, before we get to the super chats, the residencies, I know we've waffled on this. They need to do it because filling 1,500 in an arena, a basketball arena that fits 20,000 is just not working for them. But I got to be honest with you, bro. The show, especially this ECW residency, the show looks like shit. And you're watching that show, man, and you're a viewer, and even the hardcore fans, you mix that with the storylines, bro. It's like, well, what am I watching for 2 hours, bro? It looks like amateur hour out there, and mixed with all of the logic apps and the creative storylines that go nowhere, and the fucking Alex Windsors who just end up being a loser, and Darby dragging a body bag, and it's fucking comical, bro. It's nonsense. The show did 472,000, and I'm not surprised it did that number. Will it go up next week? I'm sure it will, but the show just looks like shit, and the show is booked like shit. I don't know what else to say.
As far as the residencies go, I don't mind them. I mean, I think it's good to, obviously, there's an economic reason that they do them. So that's number one. I think the first residency they did, I think, was at the Esports Arena in Arlington. I think
that was 1,100 or so. Yeah, that looked good.
So that was the first one they did. They did one at Hammerstein. I believe they're going to be back supposedly in December. They may be going back to Hammerstein for another one. So this one, again, it concludes this week. And I think there's a place for them. I think when they went to Arena Mexico, for example, for Grand Slam, that wasn't a residency. But I like when they go to, different locations. And some are going to look better and sound better than others. I don't mind the look of the 2,300 Arena. You're going to have people going gaga and jizzing themselves next week when they go back to Full Sail. Okay, how many fucking people does Full Sail fit? Not as many as the ECW Arena.
400 people.
Yeah, okay, so at least here they have 900. And that's okay. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what that looks like when they go back to Full Sail. I used to watch NXT religiously during the Full Sail era, and it didn't bother me that they were in a building that fit barely 400 people. And there are people who watch NXT every week now at the Performance Center. Also, you're lucky if you get 350 people in that building. That doesn't bother me. The bigger issue is, first of all, I don't know what to attribute that drop to. Like, that is as low as I have ever seen a Dynamite, like, regular Wednesday night number. And there was no real big competition that night. You might be able to sometimes point to a playoff game or, a fucking presidential debate or something like that.
Or a holiday, which there was no holiday. Everybody was back to normal schedule.
There was nothing. So that just tells me that whatever it was, people were turned off and not as many people watched the show this week. I know Meltzer would say we don't know the max number, but 472 is not a number to celebrate. And yes, they will be back up this week. So was it a one-time aberration? Who knows? Obviously, the Dynamite numbers in general are not what they used to be. And I go back to something I said a long time ago. if Tony Khan does believe that things are as good as they've been in many, many years, right? And we're in this upward trend here, the real telltale sign will be when they have the confidence to start running those bigger venues again. We haven't seen that. Where are the Prudential Centers? Where are the Kia Forums? Like, they've run these buildings for Dynamite before, and it's been quite some time since they've run buildings of that size, and they're not going to sell them out. But they're not in a position where they can put 5,000, 6,000 people in a building. And that, to me, is the real telltale sign when it comes to their attendance. They don't have the confidence that they are back in a position to run the bigger venues. So they have to run venues like this that they can pack in, and make them loud and make them look as full as they possibly can, because they just can't run the bigger buildings. No matter what they say about how much better things are and we're in this upward trajectory, you're really not until you can get back into those larger venues. That's what you got to watch out for. And right now they're not doing it because they don't have the confidence in it.
Tony legitimately was quoted today, and I'll read you this before we get to the super chats. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking or what planet he's on, but everything that the numbers are telling us, he's factually wrong. I think AEW is having our best year yet. He said this with the Battleground podcast, by the way, which he's a frequent guest of. I think AEW is having our best year yet, start to finish. We can pull this thing off. Right now in September and since January, I think we are having so far the best year of wrestling from January to September we've ever had. We've accomplished so many cool things this year. Hit new milestones. We did our biggest crowd ever here in North America for All in Texas. We set the record for the most wrestling fans ever at the London O2 Arena for Forbidden Door. Going to have a huge crowd at All Out in Toronto. Our weekly TV shows, most importantly, are really good shows. No, they're not. If you look at the lineup of wrestlers in AEW right now and the quality of shows that we're putting on, I think if we keep this pace up, this will be our best year and we'll have so much to look forward to next year. I get it that he's in PR mode when he's on these podcasts, but I mean, he's a business guy first. He's a pro wrestling promoter and a businessman. He's a habitual liar. This is what they do. Triple H does the same thing. Everybody in his position does the same thing. You don't believe a fucking word out of their mouth. No, it's not the best year ever. On what planet is the best year ever when you're running 900,000 people for your A show weekly? 3 straight weeks.
Well, he can say that it's the best year ever because they got that sweet media rights money.
Sure.
And they are now making more money off that deal than they ever made previously in the history of the company. So he can technically be correct when he says that. But yes, the quality of the show week to week, I mean, that's going to be in the eye of the beholder. I honestly believe that he loves great wrestling matches. And he books these matches because he wants to see the best wrestling matches on TV, and he marks out for them because he's just a big fan of that. Again, he's Mr. Cage Match. So I believe that he believes in his mind, like when he says we're putting on like the best wrestling, better wrestling on our week-to-week shows than we ever have before. Pay attention to the words he's using there. I believe that he does believe that.
Do you know what?
That's why we get all-star matches every week.
It's awful. Do you know what would make those pro wrestling matches better?
Story.
There you go.
Well, there are stories.
There are stories, but they're terrible.
Well, okay. That's how some people feel. Other people think that they're great. And he listens to those people who reinforce. When he posts a tweet at the end of Dynamite saying, "Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of AEW Dynamite. We had a great show." And he's message after message, "Thank you, Tony. This was a great show, Tony. One of the best." He's getting that positive reinforcement from his audience, and he is who he's catering to. So I don't think he is like actively in his mind lying about that. I think he thinks these are just genuinely great shows because we have these great wrestling matches on them, and that's the most important thing. And there are some stories that are decent, and there are some stories that are fucking terrible. So you get a mix of both. I mean, my opinion is very much in the middle on all of this. There's some stuff I like. There's some stuff that I don't like. There are some weeks where I think the show is more tolerable than other weeks. There are some weeks where it's tough to get through it. I could say the same thing for SmackDown too, but that's a whole separate issue. But I don't think he's lying when he makes a comment like that. I think he genuinely believes, man, the wrestling we're putting out there right now, it's as good as ever. This is where the best wrestle. That's what he says all the time. He believes it.
If Tony had someone working for him that would actually be honest and tell him what the fuck's going on, I think the show would be a lot better. Everybody just yeses him to death, and that's the product we're getting.
Well, I mean, he might have people who tell him what he needs to know, but he's the one making the final call. We don't know. What we see on TV is what he wants to see. It's what he approves. It's what he maybe in his case he's writing and putting together himself. I don't know what voices he has in his ear. I mean, he claims that he has a team of people that he does meet with. They have, I guess they have more formal production meetings now, but it's still his call to make as far as what we see on TV and what gets approved. These are the shows that he wants to put out there. He's taken on a more hands-on role, right? We've heard that before. These are Tony Khan shows.
He's in the weeds?
That's very much in the weeds. Could be smoking some of it too, for all we know. But he's very much in the weeds, yes.
Well, tomorrow's show looks a little bit better than last week's show. Hangman Page versus Josh Alexander in a non-title grudge match. Don't they have to be on television in some sort of angle to lead to a grudge match? When was the last time they wrestled?
I'm sure they've been a part of some of these all-star 6-man and 8-man tag matches.
I forgot because I fell asleep during them.
And, as far as Alexander is concerned, he has gotten the winning fall, I believe, in 2 of the 3 all-star matches that he has been a part of recently that his team has won.
Shocking.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Tony Storm versus Sky Blue in a Philly street fight. More plunder on Dynamite. Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura is back versus Riho and Alex Windsor.
Isn't she your favorite?
No, she's Jesse's favorite, actually. Not mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then this is a good one. Shelton Benjamin versus Ricochet. So we got something at least to look forward to there.
There you go.
That's Dynamite. And that's TNT. Thank you guys for a great stream. Look at that. We ended before 3 hours tonight. Holy shit.
That's great.
Crazy. We get into your super chats, and then I'll go make myself a cold beverage and watch some Stephanie Vaquer on NXT tonight with Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you guys want to get the super chats in, they will remain open until we are finished here tonight.
Apparently, Tyler Breeze was there as well, and he is going to be wrestling Ethan Page on the Homecoming show.
Oh, I was wondering why he photographed or he posted a picture of himself holding his selfie stick on Twitter today.
Well, I was going to say, I haven't had the chance to see it yet, but I hope he got the old school Tyler Breeze entrance. Like, did they show the boots as he walked out to his old music? That's what I want to know.
And that was a great gimmick, bro.
I was a huge Tyler Breeze mark for that gimmick, man. And then they called him up to the main roster, and it just went to shit.
Get those thumbs up in as well. We got 831 likes. If we can kindly get that to 1,000 likes before we finish up here, that would be greatly appreciated. So please do that. And we'll start off with Michael Krause, $2 super chat. JD Jason OTS, thank you for TNT. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael's always first in the super chats. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. What up, my bros? JD and Solo. Great to be back for another episode of TNT. You guys are awesome. Show gets better and better. Props to Sidro and those funny jokes. Well, thank you, Boss Mo Jackson. We'll see what Sidro's got in store for us tonight. Ali with a 5. JD, were you a fan of Kane's old theme, Slow Chemical, he used in 2007? I think that's his best theme.
Slow Chemical, that theme is awesome.
Yes.
That's as the cool kids say. That is a goated theme.
Yes, it's a banger. Nate with a $5 super chat coming to us from Australia. Nick is mid at best laps around Bree. You mean Nikki?
Nick?
He said Nick. I'm assuming he meant Nikki is mid at best. Around Bree, though, but you honestly think she would have the career and Hall of Fame if she wasn't with Cena and Ace wasn't her stepdad? Well, I mean, no longer is he the stepdad. I think they are very much divorced. Nikki was always better than Bree. I wasn't a big fan of Bree at all.
No?
No. Devil Jinx with a 5.
Not a fan of Bree mode?
No. Maybe when she drinks, but not on WWTV, no. Devil Jinx with a $5 super chat.
Maybe that's how she should return. She should get drunk.
A wino?
Yeah. And he just goes like stumbling out through the entranceway. Like, oh, Bree's back.
Bree comes back as a fucking wino, bro. Listen, that might get her over. I don't know.
I would be very entertained by that.
Devil Jinx with a 5 months. Police confirmed that a man who fell from the roof of an 18th-floor nightclub was not a bouncer. The gravity of this situation weighs on all clubgoers. Snarky, Devil Jinx. Thank you. Boss Mo Jackson with a 4.99. I see why WWE relies on old-timers and vets of the sport. These newcomers suck at promos, charisma, and acting. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to watch the mess. MK Pandy says it's the Brie mode, it'll be beer mode.
I'm telling you, that would get over.
Oh my God, man.
Like the new Steve Austin, she'll be cracking them together in the middle of the ring.
That is great, man. I love that. You guys are awesome. Boss Bo Jackson, thank you, brother. Illuminati with a 10. What's up, OTS family? Here's an interesting question I pose to you and Solomonster, JD. When Austin Theory returns, how would you book him? OTS family, feel free to chime in. Curious what everyone thinks. I don't know if it's gonna be better than beer mode, bro. I don't know. That's it. That's Brie Bella's new gimmick, man. Beer mode.
What was the question? I didn't hear the fucking question.
When Austin Theory returns, how would you book him?
I mean, they'll probably put.
Is he returning? We don't even know if he's returning.
Well, he's got the story with Waller. If they want to, I mean, it's a mid-card match, but I would try to come up with something better for him. But I mean, as a heel, a babyface, I would think you bring him back as a babyface. No.
You mean to tell me they're going to bring Austin Theory back to have him feud with Morning Woods?
That's it. Sounds like a great idea.
Somebody's got to make a sound clip of that instead of Brie mode, the way it says in her theme song. Beer mode, same way. Michelle.
Beer mode.
MK Pandy with the comment of the night, man. That was great. Michelle Moran with a 5. It feels like Seth is not in the vision. He is seen more by himself or with Becky than with the Bronze. Any reason why? Any thoughts on putting Cena in War Games? It's a possibility with Cena in War Games. Yeah, we've seen him. I mean, he is in a storyline right now with CM Punk and AJ Lee, so it does make sense. But yeah, the Bronze are basically out there on their own without their fearless leader. I don't know if that means anything.
I mean, it's good for them because, I mean, they've actually been getting promo time.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was like I was worried about that because Heyman was doing all the talking and then Seth would, cackle and do his promo. And I'm like, are we going to get a chance to hear from, Reed and Breaker? And Breaker's great. Like when he starts going off on somebody and makes those comments, like he's very entertaining.
Nate with a $10 super chat. I've been a Brock fan since 2002. Watched him in the UFC. What if him and Cena go out and have a classic match? I know he doesn't need to have a classic match, but people do forget he's a legit wrestler and he can do a shooting star press. I know a lot of people might not want Lesnar back on TV or might not care for him to be back on TV because of what he's dealing with the lawsuit. But the way Cena has operated recently in the last couple of outings, I'm actually looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. I don't know how you feel about it, man. You excited about it?
I hope this person doesn't think that Brock is going to bust out a shooting star press.
No.
In this match. So I always said during his previous run, like I know he can actually wrestle and do more than just suplexes. And we just never really got the chance to see him do more than what he felt he had to do, right? Because he knew all he had to do was go out there and be Suplex City. And he's also a great bumper. His selling and bumping skills, I think, are maybe underrated by some people. So he had all the tools to like just do more in his matches, and I thought maybe with certain opponents we'd see him busting out some old moves. He used to have that move, the Brock Lock, back in the day. Like no. He just would he would stick to the formula. So I think it's kind of a shame because I know the guy can wrestle, but he just, we never really got to see that version of Brock Lesnar.
Sidro, this is definitely ironic, man. I don't even know if this is considered a joke, but now that you mention it, it's kind of funny that he actually went on this show. Triple H on Kill Tony. Ironic. Kill TK by being petty. Yeah, he went on a show called Kill Tony, and he's counter-programming Tony Khan. Yeah. I don't look at that as just happenstance, bro. I think stuff like that is very on purpose. $2 super chat by Illuminati. Back in Guantanamo Bay for Wardlow. So sad. Well, I mean, if he's injured, I won't necessarily say he's in Guantanamo Bay. I mean, you got to be frozen and no creative to be placed in Guantanamo Bay. The guy's legitimately injured now, so we'll hope for his recovery very quickly. Edward Liu with $4.99. Good evening, JD and Solo. What are your top 5 ring generals you've ever watched in WWE? For me, it's the Hitman, HBK, AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, and Gunther. Well, I know Hitman's on the list for sure.
So are we just talking about great wrestlers?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think those were all fine. Did he mention Kurt Angle? Because he should be on there too.
Angle was not mentioned here.
I would throw him in there.
Revol with a 2. Rude or Abyss is making AJ Styles lose. Bobby Roode or Abyss? No. Maybe they are the ones that don't want him there. That's a good guess.
Hey, that would be a good way to reintroduce Joseph Park. Remember, for a while he was AJ's stat guy on TV.
Yeah.
It was too bad there was more they could have done there, but no. My impression is that they are both very content doing the job they do backstage.
Bossmo Jackson with the 199. What's your least favorite period for WWE? JD and Solo.
Well, I mean, in terms of Raw, it's 2018, 2019 Raw was pretty damn brutal.
Yeah.
In terms of like an overall period, I always go back to 95. It was just a very kind of bleak, down year. I could find certain things that year that I liked, but in my fandom, I don't think I ever came as close as I did that year to just not watching wrestling anymore.
Yeah, when WWE back in the day, 1995, put Barry Horowitz on the 1995 SummerSlam, you know it's a bleak year.
Yeah, he got a push that year. So what does that tell you?
That says a lot, man. That's all I need to know. Sidro with a 5. What do you call an atom that doesn't laugh? No laughing matter. How do you measure the quality of a dad joke? With a seismograph. Off to a cold start, bro. MK Pandy's got you beat. Thank you, Sidro. Bro Mobile 07 with a $5 super chat. I think the Vision needs a theme song for when they all come out together. So if you can buy any Alter Bridge song for them, what would you choose? Oh, Jesus Christ. Put me on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. Just because it comes to my head, This Is War off of Pawns and Kings. It's the opening track to that last album. A lot of Alter Bridge songs in that type of way don't get going until like we get to like the middle portion of it, honestly. I don't know why Judgment Day got rid of that theme song. Their new theme song is awful. I hate it. Triple M with a 2. I invited you to a raid and forgot TNT. Haha, my bad. Yeah, I was on earlier doing some of the new activity, bro. I would have, but I just didn't have any time. You Fluke with a $4.99. My prediction is that Britt Baker will make her return at the September 24th Dynamite in Pittsburgh to challenge Mercedes for the TBS Championship. Yeah, did you see Diamond Dallas Page say, "Hey, Tony, when is Britt Baker getting back on television?" yesterday?
I did. Because he had done an interview with her a while back. And I think he shared that video. That I know that's not recent. That's old because she was doing some DDP yoga. She's in great shape. I mean, I've seen her on Instagram recently, and she's kept in shape. And if he was going to bring her back, Pittsburgh would be the place to do it. Because it's not like she's doing anything else. He's paying her to sit home and take pictures on Instagram. So
And do DraftKings sponsorships on Twitter.
Yeah. Not bad work if you can get it.
I know. WrestleMess with a 199. Cena's last match will be on the White House lawn. Kind of, yeah, I guess. I don't know if there is anything political as to why they chose that, but with this current administration, I wouldn't really be surprised, to be quite honest with you. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. Kane or Abyss? Being that I did not watch TNA, I'm probably gonna go Kane.
Kane.
Okay.
I mean, Abyss was kind of like their version of Kane.
Yep.
With a mix of Mankind in there. Just, I don't know, there's something about his mask and his presentation. He always reminded me of a mix of Kane and Mankind, but yeah, I got to go Kane.
Sidro with a $5 super chat. A bald guy asks me if I knew anywhere that sells wigs. I said, I don't know off the top of my head, but I hear you do have to pay a lot for a good one. Get it? To pay? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Jesse Ventura used to make toupee jokes about Vince McMahon all the time.
Sidro with a 5. When I was in college, my chemistry professor told me I had to write a 1,000-word essay on acid. Unfortunately, my pen turned into a gorilla. Okay. Gorilla pen?
What is this song?
I love the reaction. I love the reaction where people say, "What is this shit, man? Let it play out, bro. Let it play out." Seriously. I know it's not like anything I've played before. I know. Lucas with a 499. WrestlePalooza is looking awesome. I'm so disappointed that I won't be able to go. Is it sold out?
No, it's not sold out yet.
Base Beers with it too. Teardrop suplex. Oh, is that what they call it? The angle slam?
No. The teardrop suplex was that finishing move that Shawn Michaels had when he first went heel as a single.
Oh yeah. That was his finisher in that Super NES Royal Rumble game.
Yeah,
too.
in the video game, it's called the teardrop suplex.
Ryleek with a 499. Punk, I'll never lay hands on a woman. Also Punk. Hits Beth Phoenix with the GTS at the Royal Rumble in 2010.
Well, he's matured since then.
He has, yeah. Baltimore Jackson with a 499. It's always interesting to see what the guys have to say in the Super Chats. I appreciate you guys answering our questions, interacting with your followers. Well, thank you for being here, bro.
Thank you, man.
Jay Everington with a 5. More influential to modern women's wrestling, Trish, Lita, or AJ Lee? It's a good question.
Lita.
Yeah, I would probably say. I mean, is it fair to say without Lita we don't have AJ Lee?
I think it's fair to say without Lita, there's probably a lot of women's wrestlers that we don't have.
Yeah. Not to take anything away from Trish, but yeah, I would probably say Lita too. Olivia Lover with a $5 super chat coming to us from Bulgaria. TNT is live in Bulgaria, strong at 4 a.m. Thank you for all the great work you guys do. Your podcast helps so much when I'm dealing with my chronic pain conditions. Olivia, thank you for being here as always.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I'm glad that you were with us here on TNT.
Blue Jay with a 199. Does Solo know how much Jesse hates CM Punk? It's funny AF. I don't know why that matters. Jesse's just disenfranchised with the fact that Punk did what he did in AEW. He looks at it as a professional thing, and he should have been more professional. That's all it is. He can have his opinion on it the way he wants. He does love AJ Lee, though. Sidra with a 2. Why is Ghost lonely? Because it has no body to call its own. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. AJ signing a multi-year deal actually surprises me. Yeah, I didn't really think that she would be back long term. I thought she'd be back for just a string of matches, but if she can handle it and she can do it, that's great. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. Any bets on how long they change AJ Lee's music and entrance? It's going to happen soon. I am going to say no, they are not stupid enough to do that. I hope to God not. Olivia with a 5. Jack Perry as the TNT champ wrestled Bryan Danielson at All Out for the world title last year. We are getting the same scenario. Lazy AEW booking. That's right. I did not think about that.
It's true. I totally forgotten about that too.
I think they did that purposely too, because it was in Chicago and they wanted Jack Perry to get that heat from the Punk situation.
Yeah.
Wrestling Old Head with a $10 super chat. AJ Lee was the crazy one during the Divas era. She comes back and promotes therapy as Bayley is descending into a split personality disorder. An amazing story can come from this. Something with Naomi too. Yes. Were you the one that said that Bayley is going to go into the Three Faces of Foley type deal?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's
my idea. My idea was actually, which I think would be kind of funny. If she could be a babyface one night or in one segment and be a heel the next. You can have her just like heel Bayley and then babyface Bayley and actually play both. Yeah, I think that, I don't know if that would work, but it would certainly be interesting to see them try to pull it off.
Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Any of you guys watch the following shows? Stranger Things, Night Agent, The Cleaning Lady, Wednesday, or The Rookie? All of which are great binge watches.
I watch one of those, which is Stranger Things.
I used to watch Stranger Things and then I stopped watching after season 2.
Yeah, you should pick up with it.
There's a few things I got to pick up on. I'm watching this Alien Earth. I'm really liking it. A lot of people said it takes too long to get to what they got to get into, but I actually like the whole premise of the show. It's really good. Adam JD 519 with a $5 super chat. I got a fever. The only prescription, more Stephanie Vicaire. Oh, she'll take care of you, bro. Absolutely. Olivia with a 2. If back, should Jericho wrestle or become a manager? Jericho is absolutely going to wrestle. Cornell Bryant with a $9.99. JD, I know she's your fave, and you're going to kill me for this, but in my opinion, Stephanie Vicaire is not over on TV like she is on the net. Not saying that it's her fault, but the likes and views on IG ain't matching the live crowds. Yeah, they're crazy, bro. That woman can post something within 15 minutes. It's got 100,000 likes.
Live crowds. I mean, again, dude, she's never on TV. Like, how can we judge this when she's barely present on the show to get over in the first place?
If she's on TV, that 100,000 may go to 200,000. Who knows?
And I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking back to Evolution, and from what I remember, I think she was pretty damn over that night.
Cornell, thank you, brother. Olivia with a 2. What if Gable beat Gunther at WrestleMania 40 for the IC title?
And that would have been great. Would have been a great moment.
Yeah. Omar with a 5. Hey, fellas, to both of you, who are your male and female wrestler of the year to this point? Are we talking both promotions? Are we doing individual WWE and AEW?
Well, I mean, for me, female is Io Sky.
Yep. I think I mentioned this the last couple of times this was asked. I'm gonna go either CM Punk or Seth Rollins for Wrestler of the Year.
I'm going to go. I think Rollins probably. So far, I would go Rollins.
Yeah.
When you look at the year that he's had.
Matt Fisher with a $4.99 and a $4.99, followed up by a $1.99. Thank you, brother. Did you miss my 50 mini bomb? Did I? Listen, bro. It took me until 5 o'clock in the morning, past 5 o'clock in the morning, to get my stream monetized last night. Just kidding. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. And then he leaves a $1.99 and says, "Who?" Yes, the who's are more pronounced on Wednesday when we don't know who's on the show. But thank you, brother. Appreciate you. $5 super chat from Hollywood Guy. It's Rhea, Tiffany, and Stephanie Vicaire versus Fatal Influence and NXT Homecoming. God rest Fatal Influence. Point Dexter with a 3 months. At a recent NXT house show, they had Obafemi and Rusev go at it. I'm going to need that to be run back on the main roster. I do think that before Rusev is finished, we will be getting that. Good for that NXT crowd. That must have been cool. Arabian Night 2000 with a $6.99. Stephanie and Julia, 2 massive signings back-to-back, are booked great in NXT. Now 6 months on the main roster, and it's been a dud. Good job, Triple H. # fail. Yeah, I don't know what they're waiting for, man. Julia's got a great look, amazing look, and Stephanie is fucking great, so I don't know. There'll be a time and a place for everything. They're not stupid. JM Beer 434, 4 months. If there was a Who Killed AEW documentary, Meltzer would blame WWE, Cornette, Bischoff, social media, and podcasters, not Tony or his creative team. You're probably correct. Yes. Now, it's our fault that AEW's not where it needs to be. Base Beers with a 2. This just in, WrestlePalooza is now slated for 3 p.m. I don't know, man. What is triple? Is there enough time to gather an NXT show at that hour before All Out?
No, I mean, it'll just be a 4-hour-long kickoff show.
Yeah.
Starting at 3 p.m.
Yeah. Telly with a $4.99. Hello, guys. Is it too early to make predictions for War Games and the Royal Rumble, considering what's been unfolding on TV over the last few weeks? War Games, no. I would say Rumble, yes. But Stephanie and Liv, early favorites for the Royal Rumble. I don't know how you feel.
I think Stephanie and Liv would probably, on the women's side, be the safe bets, if you assume Liv is going to be back by then. And Stephanie, if she doesn't win the championship, which I don't think she should, you could definitely have her win the Rumble and set up for a title match at WrestleMania. Yep. So, to me, those are the two. I know some people are very high on Roxanne. I don't see Roxanne winning the Rumble. Between her and Liv, I think, has a much better shot of being in that position.
I think we could, this is very early, but if AJ Lee is the Intercontinental Champion going into WrestleMania, I could see her and Roxanne Perez having a match at WrestleMania.
Sure. Yeah.
Men's Rumble, I'm probably going to go Punk. Punk should have won it last year, and I'm going Punk this year. Well, this coming year. And War Games, I mean, you can see what the War Games match is going to be. I don't know who the baby faces are going to be, and Rollins is going to need to add at least 1 or 2 more guys. Who that is, I don't know.
Well, according to you, it'll be LA Knight.
LA Knight, Tony D'Angelo, Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, we don't know. Austin Theory, we don't know. Base Beers with the $2 Super Chat. Any memories of WWE New York in Times Square? Yeah. I remember walking through there one time. I don't know if I physically ate there, but you ate there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
I remember walking through, the first thing you walk into is this giant merch store, and they're playing the theme music on the PA system. So the merch store was on street level, and then you would have to go down this like staircase, and that's where the restaurant was. The restaurant / club, because they had like a stage, and the restaurant was technically downstairs. Because later on, they would do live episodes of Sunday Night Heat from WWF New York. So I was there multiple times. I was there for one of the Heat tapings. The only thing I remember as far as the food, I had a burger, and it was actually pretty good. I had no complaints about the food. Overpriced, because it's Times Square. But I had fun there. It was too bad it didn't last.
What was there before that? The Hard Rock Cafe?
Yeah.
Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super. Just signed up for Express VPN yesterday with Solomonster's code. Best decision I've ever made. Thank you, Solomonster.
There you go. I'm telling you, man.
Love it.
Take advantage.
Base Beers with a 2 and a 2. Vato Sting is in the LWO. Vato.
What did you say, Vato?
Vato, yeah.
Vato Sting. I've never heard it said that way before. Yeah, because there was an episode of Impact many years ago when Sting was feuding with Kurt Angle, and Sting was known for sometimes trying to conceal his identity and then reveal himself. And so I don't know the context behind this. Maybe LAX was involved, and it's just this image I saved. I have it. It's one of my super chats of Sting standing there, and he's just dressed like Vato Sting. It's like, imagine if Conan, but it's Sting. Like no face paint, but he's just it's the funniest thing, and I didn't know the context behind it. So it's Vato Sting.
Yes, Sidro. Vato Sting. Yes. T-O-E. Yes.
It's a very white way of saying
Yeah.
it.
Yes, it is. Base Beers with a $2 super chat. Which wrestler would you cast as Jessica Rabbit? Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Hush the Myth with a $2 super chat. Do you guys know when Ilya Dragunov will return? We do not, but it is hopefully very soon. I would say by October.
Cleared.
Yeah.
He's cleared. He's just waiting for creative.
Base Beers with a 2. I just got the pun. Carrion Cross. Yes. Yes, the pun. Carrying Cross. Yes. He'll be at House of Glory October 10th. Him and Matt Cardona, man. That's going to be a banger.
That's it.
Illuminati with a $2 super chat. Cheers to you both for another great TNT. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Robbie with a $4.99. What's up, guys? What do you think of the tag team name of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee as AJ Lee? Yes. I saw CM Punk's IG story. He had a nice play on words. Also, great show tonight. Also, for Bree, Beer Bella. Gotta love that beer mode. Phantom Master with a 2. Bree's finishing move should be called Hammered.
I should call it the Hangover.
Yeah, the Hangover. Boss Top with the $4.99. Buy or sell. More potential to be the face of the company. Dom or Braun? Braun break.
Braun.
Yeah. Phantom Master with the 2. Solo says, let's do this in Brock's voice for JD.
Oh, so do you remember that many years ago?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and it was like the weirdest thing. It's like when you hear Mike Tyson speak for the first time, like the voice just doesn't really match the body. But I don't remember who Brock was saying it to, but it's just like he says, let's do
Yes?
like his balls just dropped. And I'm like, it was the funniest thing. But yeah, I wouldn't say that to Brock's face, of course, but.
Phantom Master, thank you, brother. Base Beers with it, too. Lesnar vs. Cody could have been perfect, or the perfect end for the Bloodline. Oh, for not Bloodline, Brock Lesnar. I don't know why I thought Bloodline with BL. He says Lesnar Cody could have been the perfect end for Brock Lesnar. It could have, absolutely, and they shook hands too on the way out. I don't know why they didn't. Big Hoss with a $5 super chat. I hope the Vision builds chemistry in backstage segments like the Bloodline, and not to be sets dependent. Who would you add to them to chase the IC title? LA Knight? I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but certainly feels like he's going heel. The Bastard with a $4.99 after seeing Don Callis choke out the fat kid, Justice. What are the chances Tony Khan makes this feud and makes Big AJ a champion?
Well, we were told we were going to get father and son titles, so I mean, hey, don't rule it out.
Oh, man. Sidro with a $5 super chat. What's the difference between a stoner and a drunk? A drunk drives through stop signs. A stoner waits for them to turn green. Yeah. It's not fun being a stoner, bro. I don't think I'd go back to those days. True Crime Unleashed with a $4.99. Alter Bridge requested WWE not to use the song anymore because it was for Edge only. You know this for sure? I won't be surprised. Matt Fisher with a $4.99. Unpopular opinion. Trish was a fantastic personality, but average wrestler happened to look good against its not so good opponents, minus Lita and MJ. Trish was always average, but I mean, I look back at her match with Becky Lynch in the steel cage match, and I thought that was her best match ever. Honestly. Richard Scarlett with a $4.99. Per John Alba, WWE shifted John Cena's final match from Boston to Washington because DC outbid Boston. Yes. It all came down to money. Najee with a $7.99. Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble and beat Rollins at WrestleMania 42. No, I'm going CM Punk or Sammy may be out of the question, but I'm going Punk. Swazi with a $4.99. Where do you rank AEW releasing CM Punk as one of the worst decisions in entertainment and wrestling history? I don't know. That's a different topic for a different day. But as far as AEW, it's the worst decision in the entire company ever. I don't know, in wrestling history. And Base Beers, well, with this, $2 super chat. Sting's best disguise was the Sting mask. LOL.
Yes. You could do that a few different times, but the famous one was in TNA. I think was it Rob Van Dam was like going around the ringside slapping hands with fans.
Yep.
There was a guy sitting down. I think he was sitting down, and he's wearing a Sting mask. And then I think he gets hit in the head, like hit right in the face with like a chair. And then Sting stands up and pulls the mask off, and you see it's the face paint. He just pulls the mask off to reveal another Sting mask, basically. He was always, I don't know, Sting in Impact, even when he did like Joker Sting, I don't know how much of that you saw, was very entertaining. I just wish he didn't spend that much time there, because he could have been spending more of that time working with like the top names in WWE.
Yeah.
And we just got deprived of that because he spent so long in TNA.
Yeah, that Undertaker match with them fucking Cabin in the Woods vignettes, man, that was such a missed opportunity, bro.
It was 2011, yep.
And Living Dead one with us, $1.99. NXT recent storylines are greater than Raw and SmackDown. They're not for me, that's all I'll say. It's a wild, wild west down there. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Continue to hit that thumbs up. We got 907 likes. I don't know why 1,000 wasn't met tonight. We got 2,800 people in here. So if you guys want to do that for us, please, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for the super chat love. If you guys want to follow us on social media and YouTube, everything you need for both of us is linked down below in the description. And as always, I'm going to let this guy sound us off for a great episode here of 111 of Tuesday Night Titans.
Yeah, another great one in the books. Thank you all for the support. I will be venturing over to Yankee Stadium this weekend to see the Savannah Bananas. Have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas before?
I have not. I don't know what that is.
It's basically, the best way I could describe it, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, they're very popular. They've taken their act on the road, and so that's where I'll be. Checking that out at Yankee Stadium. I've not been, believe it or not, to the new Yankee Stadium since it opened.
I have not either. I've been to Citi Field many times, but I've never been to this Yankee Stadium. The old one, yes. The new one, no.
Yeah. So that's where I'll be.
There you go. That sounds like a great time. Thank you guys for a great time tonight on Tuesday night. We'll be back next week. It is the go-home shows for both All Outs and WrestlePalooza. So we will definitely be talking about that tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow. Next week. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm taking the day off, I think, tomorrow until Dynamite. It's going to be a long night of Dynamite. So we'll be both live tomorrow night for Dynamite. I'll be live with Jesse. Solo will be solo. And we will see you next week right here on TNT, episode 112. Same time, same channel. See you guys then.